Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. I think it's working. I hope it's working. Everything appears to be tentatively. I'm a lot later today than I expected or intended to be, but that's okay. I am... yeah, I have a new kid. So, sue me. Also... Okay, I feel like things are going too slow right now. What is going on? Oh. I see what's happening. Give me a second and I can fix this. Okay. That's better. Sorry. My memory was just through the roof, my memory use. Anyway, okay. I just want to make sure everything is working. Are people here? I can't tell what's happening on my end. Yeah, it appears people are here. Yes, people are here. Okay, good. Everything is loading now. Welcome, Kitty Mom. Welcome, cats are scary. Why so many cat people? I mean... You know, I have cats as well. I'm sorry to say we have to put my cat down tomorrow. I just found this out yesterday. Since the cat people are here, he has pretty aggressive cancer. Just found out of nowhere. He just slowed down on eating. And, so I took him into the vet because he had slowed down on eating, and we found out he has cancer, just like that. Well, I've had him for, God, 12 years. My kid grew up. It's her childhood pet. Just really, really terrible. And it doesn't help when I know they mean well, but the doctor keeps saying he's going to kitty heaven. You know, like, I know that helps a lot of people, so fine, I guess she can keep saying that, but that does not help me. In fact, that makes it worse, so, yeah. Anyway, nothing fun about the situation. Yeah, my cat. I have to put my cat down for anybody who just arrived. He has aggressive lymphoma of the GI tract, to my understanding. She was feeling his like organs or whatever, and she says, "Oh, that's not good." It was almost comical. With how, like, obviously bad it was. Yeah. So, anyway, that sucks. Let's get our minds off of it. My kid's pretty broken up about it. Let's check the Flashpoint live stream. There's actually, I know I did a Flashpoint thumbnail and stuff, but wait, Friday? Wait a minute. 6:26? I was thinking of watching this one. Holy shit, dude. How long is the intro?
Let's kind of take in just a few days. Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
In Bedford, Texas, just 2 to 3 weeks would be with you guys.
And just all stuff contains your world event. From All Builders, Tim Barton, Echo Church, good to see you all. And Andrew, especially good to see you. It's been a while. You're going to join us here in just a few days. Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
In Bedford, Texas, just 2 to 3 weeks would be with you guys. It'll be the
I'm just grabbing these videos real fast.
23rd or the 24th of July. Very excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. All right, well, let's talk about what's happened. Let's kind of take it in order. Here's President Trump earlier talking about a ceasefire. Watch.
He's really been out of shape about the ceasefire. I don't know what his deal is. Okay. I'm going to grab this one too. Because this is actually the one that I found really interesting that I had considered watching, but I couldn't find it soon enough to... Anyway. I also need to go grab my slippers real fast, so I'm going to let this play for a second while I get my slippers.
Iran violated the ceasefire.
Yeah,
Will they face any consequences?
Well, you'll find out.
Do you consider the ceasefire to still be in place?
I don't like the fact that they took a shot yesterday, actually 4, we knocked down 3, at a ship. Not an allied ship, but a ship, a very expensive ship. And it was fine, but it took a little beating. They shouldn't be doing that, so you'll find out.
Will the U.S.
I mean, you'll find out
will the
exactly.
U.S. respond? What is your message to
Will I
Iran?
respond? You're going to find out.
Sir, why do you think they did that if the talks, you've said repeatedly they're going well? What do you think the motivation is for backing the ship?
They're a little bit different. That's why I think of it, 47 years, no president did what we're doing. So you just asked a question, you'll find out.
And we will find out. Here's his tweet, or his truth he posted.
This is the one. This is him. He's so skittish and upset about even being carried downstairs. This is why I don't have pets. Because they're going to die one day. And then you're going to have to deal with that. He has slept next to my head every night since he was born. On my bed, up in the corner. He's got a little corner, you know? I can't believe he let me carry him down at all. He must be feeling pretty sick to allow me to carry him down. Anyway, all right. Let's continue. Let me jump back here. Okay, give an intro to this. This is a TV show called Flashpoint, where Donald Trump is like their Lord and Savior, and I'm not even being flippant. They literally believe in Trump theology on this TV show. Anyway, they're turning on him a little bit, believe it or not. They're unhappy about some stuff. So I want to listen to what they have to say here.
Very excited upon.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. All right, well, let's talk about what's happened. Well, let's kind of take it in order. Here's President Trump earlier talking about a ceasefire. Watch.
You said that Iran violated the ceasefire.
Yeah,
Will they face any consequences?
Well, you'll find out.
Do you consider the ceasefire to still be in place?
I don't like the fact that they took a shot yesterday, actually 4, we knocked down 3.
I think he's talking about... Is he talking about Israel taking a shot? Or is he talking about Iran taking a shot at, like, American something or other? I'm not even sure.
At a ship. Not an allied ship, but a ship, a very expensive ship. And it was fine, but it took a little beating. They shouldn't be doing that, so you'll find out.
Will the U.S.
I mean, you'll find out
will the
exactly.
U.S. respond? What is your message to
Will I
Iran?
respond? You're going to find out.
Sir, why do you think they
Okay, that's not fucking helpful. Just respond, dumbass. Has anyone seen the clip of that Christian camp that did a mock execution in front of kids? What? No. I'm gonna have to find out about this. I'll find out.
did that if the talks, you've said repeatedly they're going well? What do you think the motivation is for backing the ship?
They're a little bit different. That's why I think of it, 47 years, no president did what we're doing. So you just asked a question, you'll find out.
And we will find out. Here's his tweet, or his truth. He posted Islamic Republic of Iran shot at least 4 one-way attack drones at ships traversing the Strait of Hormuz. One of the drones solidly hit the upper deck of a large and very expensive cargo ship. It's what he was just talking about. Damage was done. Ship was able to proceed. We knocked down 3 other drones. Obviously, a foolish violation of our ceasefire agreement. President Donald J. Trump.
Like, Iran is not violating the ceasefire all willy-nilly. They're doing it in response to Israel violating the ceasefire, obviously. Now, is he saying the same thing to Israel? I don't know.
He said you're going to find out. Well, let me show you this. Just in from U.S. Central Command, U.S. strikes Iran in response to attack on the commercial vessel. Watch this.
Just spoke to a senior U.S. defense official, and those airstrikes are ongoing as we speak. So this is not over. The response by the U.S. military to that strike by the IRGC using a one-way attack drone targeting that Singapore flagship overnight. But there are still more targets that CENTCOM is going after as we speak. We had heard about those original 3 airstrikes in Sirik, Iran. Those were from local reports on the ground. And we learned from the CENTCOM statement that it was drone storage sites, missile storage sites.
I'm sorry. Like, I don't believe a word out of any of these people's mouths. If you notice, they covered up the lower third banner, the Chiron or whatever, with their own banner. But this is Fox News. Don't trust Fox News ever. Oh my God, dude, they're so untrustworthy. It's ridiculous.
As well as air radar.
Defend themselves, which is you.
Son of a bitch, I hit a button and now I'm in a completely different location in the video. That frustrates the fucking shit out of me. Let me find where we were here.
Flagship going after as we speak. We had heard about those original 3 airstrikes in Sirik, Iran. Those were from local reports on the ground. And we learned from the CENTCOM statement that it was drone storage sites, missile storage sites, as well as air radar defense systems. But right now, we can say that they're striking more targets, and it's clear that they're trying to send a very strong message to the Iranians to basically cut it out.
I know you're learning this in real time, Jennifer, but any extent, any sense of the extent of the attacks? You start with 3. How wide, how broad are these responsive attacks from the United States?
Well,
9 minutes on the button. You know what? Shit, I should have cut the opener. Did the transcript fuck up? No.
Good.
No, we're good. Sometimes it does. All right, 9 minutes on the button. Here we are.
These responsive attacks from the United States?
Well, it's not clear, but it's clear this is not a symbolic strike. This is taking out some of those drone sites and missile sites that have been really tormenting the ships in the Strait of Hormuz as the Iranians still try to play games with potentially charging tolls in that area, which would be against the MOU.
They're playing games with it. Okay. Look, the point is, Iran just came up against the United States and fucking won, okay? They can do whatever the fuck they want in the Strait of Hormuz. That's the point here. And if you want them to actually follow the guidelines of a deal, you have to give them concessions. Is this the first fucking time you've ever negotiated anything? Or ever seen a negotiation negotiated? You have to give the other side enough incentives to make it worth it for them to hold to the deal. Dumbass. Hold on. I'm looking up this information on this. Give me a second. I'm just looking for this mock execution video. Apparently, they did not put it on their Facebook page, but they did upload it. Yes, the video is real, apparently. According to TMZ and a bunch of other Yahoo. Wow. It was first posted by TikTok user 24Sire WSNAEHT. I'd love it if people had pronounceable usernames. That would be fucking awesome. Okay, here. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Wow. Here we go. Right here. This is part of the video, apparently. Wait. What the fuck?
What's up, Bubba's?
Please leave me alone.
Hi. No.
How do you... No, that can't be right. Where the fuck is the video? Oh my god. Fucking please leave me alone. Jesus Christ. Keeps trying to shove its stupid sign-in garbage down my throat. Let me try just downloading it. Oh, legal. Yeah, legal. Yeah, got it. Here. Mount Olive Baptist Church, Lexington, Kentucky, apparently did a mock execution. The South is a whole different planet? What the fuck? This was in front of literal children, dude. What the fuck is wrong with these people? What was the point of all this? Like, what did the children learn from this? Take him out, blow him up? Is that what they're having the children chant? Take him out, blow him up? Bro, this is Vacation Bible School, which we'll be talking about in a minute. What the fuck, dude?
I've been thinking about this all day. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's after 4? 5, 6. What's after 6? 7, 8.
Jesus Christ, dude. So the pastor pretends to be shot? These people seriously need fucking help, dude. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Genuinely. There were literal 6-year-olds in the crowd there. A Kentucky church is under fire after performing a mock execution by firing squad in front of kids during Vacation Bible School, VBS, I believe is what this was. The disturbing viral video shows children at Mount Olivet Baptist Church chanting, "Take him out, blow him up," as men dressed in military gear point guns and pretend to shoot multiple rounds into a man lying on stage. It was pretty graphic. You can see the pastor leading the chant during the mock execution, and kids giggle and laugh while the mock firing squad victim gets dragged off stage and outside. Did you ever wonder how Germans in 1933 were so willing to do the evil atrocities they did? It was one small step after another. And it was teaching children manly things, quote unquote. Skinning a deer, not being afraid of killing something or somebody who deserves it. They're not human. They're just like the deer you skin. You know, they're out to get you. They're trying to hurt you and your family. Desensitizing them to murder like that. They used to do that shit in the Hitler Youth. You know, it was like the Boy Scouts kind of. And they would brainwash all these children into being okay with murder. And they'd brainwash them into turning on their parents. You can see the pastor leading the chant during the mock execution. Once the men are outside, the pastor stands by the door, leads the kids through a count, and then they hear a pop from outside, causing the kids to scream. I don't think it was outside. The pastor jumped when that pop happened. I think it was supposed to be the pastor being shot. Even though it's not real, it's still tough to watch.
And a good day to you, my friends, and just a thought from the pastor study. I want to address this firestorm concerning the clip that's been sent, I guess, everywhere. I'm quite frankly befuddled.
You're fucking befuddled? Really? Befuddled. That's the word you chose to describe what you are? Befuddled. Okay, cool.
The misinformation out there is...
Misinformation! It's your fault, dumbass.
It's sad. And I guess it's a part of what this generation has become. And concerning the clip that has been shared, it was nothing more than a small part of our Vacation Bible School.
I don't give a fuck what it was a small part of. It was unacceptable to do that shit in front of fucking children. Again, this is exactly how right-wing extremist regimes desensitize children to murder. That's how it happens. And you cannot tell me you didn't know that. You know, I'm kind of on the fence about doing a mock execution of Jesus. That shit's pretty graphic. And you know what? Everybody else thinks so too, which is why The Passion of the Christ got an R rating. Because that shit's pretty fucking graphic. And at the end of the day, you know, what do we actually know about Jesus's execution? Almost nothing. We don't even know for sure there was a Jesus, but I'm granting you maybe there was for the sake of argument. So all of the shit that you just made up about this guy being executed was fictitious and completely unnecessary. You didn't need to show any of that shit. And all the shit about Jesus being executed is unnecessarily gory. It doesn't have to be like that. Do you really want children to be desensitized to violence like that? Do you really want children to be okay with watching somebody shot down in the fucking street like a dog? Is that the world you're reaching for? I don't know if you guys knew this, but in Germany, I know a lot about this subject. I've written 2 books about it. My latest was God's People, Christian Nationalism in the Third Reich. It's on Amazon and Audible if you want to check it out. But, oh, fuck, what was I going to say now? Oh, I don't know if you guys knew this, but in World War II, the murder actually negatively affected the Nazis. They loved what was happening. They were all in. They wanted the Jews to die. But at the end of the day, when they come home at night and eat dinner with their family and kiss their kids and lay down in bed, they start jumping at loud pops. They start having nightmares. They start having emotional outbursts unexpectedly and with no explanation. They developed PTSD. The Nazis did. Many did. Even though they believed in the cause of killing Jews, humans are not meant to kill other humans. And seeing something so violent like that really fucks your head up. No matter how righteous, no matter how evil the other person is, it's not healthy for us to see shit like that. And a young, developing brain, seeing somebody shot down, even fake, can do permanent, irreparable damage to their psyche, genuinely. And you can say kids these days or this generation is soft or whatever the fuck you want. But at the end of the day, this negatively affects people deeply. and it makes them more willing to see more of it. So, like, I don't know what he was thinking. Can't imagine that. I just don't know, dude. I don't know what was going through this dude's head. But this is how it starts.
For 32 years, Vacation Bible School, we have characters every year that represent good and right and God. And we have characters that represent evil and wrong and that which should be avoided. We every year, through skits and songs and games and just a lot of fun, we make church a fun place, a happy
place? Is that what he's about to say? A happy place? Again, that's not very happy. Children this age should not be exposed to violence on this level, to this degree. They shouldn't. They just shouldn't.
place. A place where we hate sin.
Okay, like, you can encourage kids not to sin. I'm all for that, if that's what you really want to do. But to hate anything or anybody at all is a dangerous road. And okay, you hate the devil, fine, hate the devil. But don't then project that hate onto other people and say, well, he's got the devil in him, so it's okay to hate him. That's going down a bad road. I'm telling you. This is a bad idea.
We love the sinner.
Clearly, is that why you shot the sinner down? You hate the sin and love the sinner, so murder them brutally?
A place where we exalt Jesus and we hate the devil. I think you'd be in agreement that we shouldn't love the devil. I think we're all in agreement that there's such a thing as spiritual warfare.
Okay, now you're starting to, I mean, I hate the devil, okay. Spiritual warfare? What are we talking about now? What's all this then?
A battle going on behind the scenes that we can't see with physical eyes. We here have a very serious addiction ministry, have for years.
Wait, I thought that the battle was going to happen after Armageddon starts. Isn't that happening after Armageddon, or during Armageddon, I mean? There's a physical battle happening right now, like before Armageddon? Okay.
Reaching those that have been broken by drugs and alcohol, some horrible addiction that's taken from them everything that's good. And we welcome them to come and we give them the truth that Jesus loves them.
Bro, is he just fucking advertising his stupid shit now? Is that what he's doing? Really? Is now the time? Jesus fucking Christ. I understand this video was framed like it was an immigrant being executed, but I don't think it was an immigrant being executed. I believe it was just part of their play.
Them, that the devil does hate them. They can be forgiven, can get a new life, can start over. And it's been one of the themes of our church.
I don't, what does this have to do with you literally executing somebody in front of children? I'm lost.
Think of how many times I've visited a jail and I leave there heartbroken over what sin and Satan has done to that poor person, and pray that God, I pray they let you change their life. And every year for 32 years, we've had this evil against good in our Vacation Bible School. The last several years, we've had the Commandos for Christ.
The last several? Is that what he said?
We've had this evil against good in our Vacation Bible School. The last several years, we've had...
The last several years, he's had Commandos for Christ. Wow. I was on the fence about who was the good guy here. I thought the military guys were the bad guys for a minute, but no. The military guys were the good guys here. Holy fucking shit, dude. The military guys were the good guys. Good against evil, he said. For the last several years, he's been acting this entire time like he's been doing this exact play for 30 years. He hasn't. I don't give a fuck if you've been operating for 30 years. I know Vacation Bible School's been around for a long time. My issue was with the murder part. Did you, you didn't connect those dots? You didn't think that was a thing people had a problem with? What you've been doing for the last several years? Hang on, let me find it again. Oh my God, it closed. Son of a bitch. So he says the commandos were commandos for Christ. They are the good guys in this. Who the fuck would agree to be a commando for Christ? That's fucking wild, dude. That is fucking... Dude, we are in a disturbing place in this country.
Commandos for Christ that has the gospel gun.
The fucking gospel gun. Commandos for Christ have the gospel gun. Yeah, you think you're making this better. You're not. This is getting worse as you talk.
It's the answer for the devil. The gospel and the word of God. It's the answer. The clip you saw was simply killing the devil. And I'll be honest with you, if I could kill the devil every day and raise him up and kill him again, I'd do it. He's the one we hate.
Right, okay, fine. But it wasn't the devil that you were killing. It was literally a human being who was being killed in that scenario.
We're not allowed by God to hate anybody else.
See, this is what I'm talking about right here. It was a human being, and in Germany, they were told that Jews were inhuman, and others, Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff, were inhuman. They were inhuman. They were the devil. That's what they were told, and that justified the violence and hate and whatever it took to eliminate them from planet Earth. That's what was justified. But at the end of the day, we aren't supposed to kill human beings. We just aren't. And it fucked them up.
Not even our enemies. And that's all that clip was. Now, you may not like how he did it.
No, I definitely fucking don't, obviously.
You may not like we used those air rifles. They're basically paintball guns.
No, I don't. I don't like that you simulated a literal execution of a human being in front of 6-year-olds. That's all of that. Yes, that's correct. None of that is good, and I don't like any of it.
And maybe you're right, maybe we're wrong.
Yeah, I am. Trust me. After all of the studying that I've done of World War II and how it affected people's psyches, you're wrong. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments. That is fucking wild, dude. That is wild. Jesus Christ. I need to grab that clip, too, from him. How do I get that? What is it? It looks like a YouTube video. Can I share this? Share, yes. No, I guess it's not a YouTube video. I don't know if my downloader is going to work with this. Let's see. It is working. It must be a YouTube video. It looks like a YouTube video that's had all of the controls stripped from it. Because it completed successfully. Cool. Alright, good. You guys want to see what I've been working on lately? It's really cool. So I've got Bookforge, as many know. Let me just pull Bookforge real fast. The repo. Pull. Oh, fuck. All right. Electron dev. All right. I've been working on it. It's really cool. You guys are going to think it's cool, too. I know it. Damn, I don't have any coffee. What are with these ads? Or what's with these ads? Okay. So let me show you Bookforge here. It's building, almost. Any second now. Okay, here we go. This is Bookforge, right? And it's what I use to text-to-speech books. Listen to the quality on this one. You can hit listen here, and it pops up a separate player window.
Introduction. The mists were always at their thickest in the early hours of the morning, before the rising of Mistworld's pale sun. A dim figure padded confidently across a slippery slate roof, his slender frame barely visible amidst the swirling snow flurries.
That's pretty good, right? But check this out. I added a website back end to it. So I can pull up my whole book library, right? And click any of them. Let's click Mistworlds. And it pops up a little player window. How fucking awesome is that? And it does it on mobile, too. Like, it's designed for mobile so that it's like a book player. And you can pick any of the books and just play them. And it holds your spot. It shows how much you've read with the little purple here. And it has follow the sentences. It has bookmarks. It has a sleep timer. It has speed. Here.
Across the open clearing. Diana moved with them, her eyes wide open, but she couldn't detect any other presences in the...
And if you scroll, then it turns off automatic follow, and then you turn it back on to jump back to your location.
Surrounding forest. All three of them tensed as they left the clearing and plunged back into the trees, but nothing happened. They stayed alert and cautious all the rest of the way, but the forest remained empty and silent, like a huge abandoned graveyard. And finally, they arrived at their destination. With no...
You can also download it to your phone or whatever by hitting this button. And I made an ebook viewer as well for my ebooks if you want to read those. Oh shit. It's broken. Oh no, this one worked. There you go. See? You can read an ebook like this, For the Soul of the People by Victoria Barnett. Anyway, I'm really happy with it. I think it's awesome. I mean, it's not available to the public. I just think it's really cool. I was just showing you. Anyway, yeah. Analytics. You can see how much you've read. 21 hours. No, this book is not that old or not that long. I'm gonna have to fix the analytics. I think it's because it wrapped around because I was listening past midnight. But anyway, yeah, really cool. Really, really cool. The queue. All right, let's continue then. That works. There was something else I wanted to cover. What was it? Give me a second here to look through my thing. I know I had something else. What the hell was it that I wanted to talk about? Mandatory Bible readings for kids. No, that wasn't it. I cannot for the life of me remember what I wanted to talk about all of a sudden. Did I save it to a video? What is this? Let's see. Hang on. Intelligent design.
as one of life.
These sermons.
What is
she's got your own money.
I have is
and right that public that
it's not.
I've been working on the tree, and for
There was something I wanted to talk about. I cannot remember. Wait. No. What the hell was it? I'm just scanning through real fast. See if I can remember. Oh, yes, I remember now. I remember. Wait. Let me pull it up. Here we go, right here.
with the arrest of a congresswoman, Democratic congresswoman.
All right. So I have this friend who has a QAnon neighbor, and this QAnon neighbor told this friend to look at baby Trump videos. So I figure, you know what? Let's find out what QAnon is watching right now.
With the arrest of a congresswoman, Democratic congresswoman.
Oh, give me a break. Did you see her? She was out of control.
With the arrest
Those days are over.
Did
The
you
days
tell her
of
to do
woke.
that?
The days of woke. No, I didn't. The days of woke are over.
Boy, that's a full bottle. What is he drinking? A full 8 ounces every 3 hours now?
That woman, I have no idea who she is. That woman was out of control. She was shoving federal agents. She was out of control. The days of that crap are over in this country. We're going to have law and order.
Okay, here's the next one.
Governor Gavin Newsom is firing back after the president's border czar threatened to arrest him.
Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy.
Tom Homan warned Newsom and LA's Mayor Karen Bass if they stand in the way of ICE raids, they'll be placed in cuffs.
You saying that about Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom? Are they at risk of being arrested?
I'll say it about anybody. You cross that line, it's a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien. It's a
So what they're showing here is actual real fascist behavior, where they're saying they're going to arrest anybody who tries to protect or help an immigrant. The last one was an example of Donald Trump saying that Democrats should be executed, right? Was that what that was? Or that somebody died? I don't know. Like, I didn't have the context. They didn't provide it in the video. I think maybe somebody died, and he said it was totally justified for them to die. That's psychotic. Is that godly behavior? Is that godly to hope that somebody dies? I mean, we just talked about this video recently where this vacation Bible school pastor literally held a mock execution by firing squad of some random dude. So, and then justified it upside down, backward, and forward. So maybe that is what, Christians do.
felony to impede law enforcement from doing their job.
President Trump seems to think it's a great idea.
I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing.
Governor Newsom
saying, I think it's great to arrest people who are simply helping immigrants. That's great.
blames the president for the chaos in LA, saying he's fanning the flames by sending in the National Guard. And he's also lashing out at Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth for threatening to deploy the Marines.
Pete Hegseth's a joke. He's a joke. Everybody knows it. So in over his head. What an embarrassment.
Trump is responding on social media. We made a great decision in sending the National Guard.
Wow, they put it in like Comic Sans MS. Is this Comic Sans MS? It looks similar at least.
If we had not done so, Los Angeles would have been completely obliterated. The very incompetent governor, Gavin Newsom, should be saying, "Thank you, President Trump. You are so wonderful. We would be nothing without you, sir."
Nap time news. So this is what QAnon is watching on a daily basis. A baby could absolutely do a better job than Donald Trump. Let me make my argument. A baby, you know what? Let's make the baby old enough to talk. Hell, let's say a 3-year-old, just to be extra fair. A 3-year-old would do better than Trump. You know why? Because a 3-year-old would have no idea what was going on, and they would have no choice but to defer to people who did know what was going on. When it came to nap time or whatever, or I don't know, what do 3-year-olds get up to? When it came to not watching Aladdin, Prince of Thieves again, that would be a problem. But all of the other shit, I believe a 3-year-old would do better than Donald Trump. Because the 3-year-old has no evil, ill intent, no corrupt intent or whatever, right? But Trump obviously does.
Overnight, Elon Musk, criticizing the president's massive spending bill, said he was disappointed to see it. Let's go to Capitol Hill. Correspondent Jay O'Brien with the latest. Good morning, Jay.
Yeah, Michael, good morning. President Trump has been adamant he wants Republicans united behind his mega bill, full of a laundry list of campaign promises. But one top ally is still not on board this morning, Elon Musk.
So, I was like disappointed.
Occupy Hars. What the fuck is Hars? Is Hars another planet in the solar system somewhere that I haven't heard about yet? Hars.
To see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along. I mean, like, everything he's done on Doge gets wiped out in the first year.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
Now, Trump's massive legislative package is now in the hands of the Senate, where Republicans are expected to make significant changes and then send it back to the House. So the GOP infighting over this bill is far from over. Robin.
All right, JR, thanks to you for your reporting.
So this is what QAnon is looking. So this is what QAnon is watching. Interesting. Now we know. If anyone ever wondered, this is what QAnon is up to. When they're not on 4 and or 8chan looking at horrifying, disturbing garbage, this is what they're watching. Fantastic. Tell me what you think in the comments. Okay. This one about the pastor doing the execution, that shit was really disturbing, dude. All right, let's continue. How far in are we? Not very, right? Okay. I'm actually going to let it play for a minute. I'm going to go make some coffee. All right. I'll be right back.
So right now, the fact that the strikes are still continuing, and CENTCOM did put out that statement, is surprising to me, because usually we get a statement when these kind of strikes are finished. But I think obviously they want the Iranians to know that it's the U.S. military. They want the world to know that they are responding, and it's unacceptable to stop these ships going through the Strait of Hormuz.
I don't know, Josh. Were you surprised at this?
Not surprised at all. Actually, I think the Trump administration is being pretty, they're holding back quite a bit, because Trump's big threat was they would go after the infrastructure, go after the water systems, which they did right before the whole peace deal started, go after the electric grid, go after key kind of infrastructure that allows Iran to even function as a country. I think he's holding back from that because it would take them probably at least a decade to get back up and running again if you were to do that. Him just targeting military sites is holding back, in my opinion. But I think he wants to send a message.
Well, I think he's sending a message. Tim, your thoughts here? I'll ask the same question. Are you surprised at this?
No, not surprised. I think the surprise is that a lot of people thought there was going to actually be a peace agreement. When anybody paying attention to Iran, recognizing that a lot of the leaders in their government, they are from an extremist belief in the 12th Imam, and they think that there's this Imam who's been, in essence, like hiding out in a cave somewhere. I don't know. But in the midst of war and chaos, he's going to return. Almost like as Christians, we believe in the return of Jesus. They believe in the 12th Imam to some extent, and they think he's going to come back and bring order and kill all of the infidels, the Christians, the Jews, and non-believers. But I say that because they have been very motivated to not want peace. They want war because they think when we have another world war, that's what brings the Imam back. So I'm not surprised of what they did.
All right, I'm gonna have to go get it in about 5 minutes. Once it finishes brewing. Okay. Let's continue. Where was I? Current position. Here we are.
So right now, the fact that the strikes are still continuing, and CENTCOM did put out that statement, is surprising to me, because usually we get a statement when these kind of strikes are finished. But I think obviously they want the Iranians to know that it's the U.S. military. They want the world to know that they are responding, and it's unacceptable to stop these ships going through the Strait of Hormuz.
I don't know, Josh. Were you surprised at this?
Not surprised at all. Actually, I think the Trump administration is being pretty, they're holding back quite a bit, because Trump's big threat was they would go after the infrastructure, go after the water systems, which they did, right?
Well, yeah, but that's a war crime is the problem. Doing something like that is morally evil and internationally illegal. So it makes sense that he would hold off on doing that. That's not one of the levers of negotiation he has. If he did want to negotiate in good faith, he could get a lot done. Unfortunately, he has no interest in negotiating in good faith, and I think that's very obvious, right? Also, Israel keeps throwing a wrench into everything. They keep causing serious problems.
Before the whole peace deal started, go after the electric grid, go after key kind of infrastructure that allows Iran to even function as a country. I think he's holding back from that.
Yeah, war crimes, 100%. I would hope that he does. This dude is saying he thinks Trump is holding back from genociding like he said he would. Are you kidding me right now?
Because it would take them probably at least a decade to get back up and running again if you were to do that. Him just targeting military sites is holding back, in my opinion. But
Jesus fucking Christ. What an absolutely psychotic thing to say, genuinely. I'm going to grab that clip. Wait. Hold on, I'm sorry. What's going on here? All right, current. I'm just going to see if I can grab this whole section here.
Not surprised at all. Actually, I think the Trump administration is being not surprised at all. Actually, I think the Trump administration is being pretty, they're holding back quite a bit, because Trump's big threat was they would go after the infrastructure, go after the water systems, which they did right before the whole peace deal started, go after the electric grid, go after key kind of infrastructure that allows Iran to even function as a country. I think he's holding back from that because it would take them probably at least a decade to get back up and running again if you were to do that. Him just targeting military sites is holding back, in my opinion, but I think he wants to send a message.
Well, I think he's sending a message. Tim, your thoughts here? Rob, same question. Are you surprised?
Yeah, let me just...
well, I think...
All right. Wait, what's this guy's name again? Flashpoint host says Trump should destroy Iranian infrastructure, civilian infrastructure. Let me just export this. Dude, my mind is just shot today. Start. What a genuinely insane thing to say. The Epic Times. He's the senior investigative reporter for the Epic Times. That's interesting. Do you guys know what the Epic Times is? I didn't know this until fairly recently. There's this cult called, well, I've known about this cult for a long time. It's called Falun Gong. And it started in New York City. Now, New York City, or the way that they kind of started getting their name out there is they started a newspaper called the Epic Times. A lot of people do this in New York City. If they want to get a newspaper out there, they will print a bunch of copies and they'll hand them out to people on the street. And that's exactly what the Epoch Times did on behalf of Falun Gong. And eventually, it kind of worked. Eventually, Falun Gong started, or I'm sorry, eventually the Epoch Times started getting attention and turned into a proper right-wing outlet. And now it's absolutely insane. They are out of their heads insane. Like, they say crazy shit like this. Trump should genocide every man, woman, and child in Iran. Like, really evil stuff.
That allows Iran to even function as a country. I think he's holding back from that because it would take them probably at least a decade to get back up and running again if you were to do that. Him just targeting military sites is holding back, in my opinion. But I think he wants to send a message.
Well, I think he's sending a message. Tim, your thoughts here? I'll ask the same question. Are you surprised at this?
No, not surprised. I think the surprise is that a lot of people thought there was going to actually be a peace agreement. When anybody paying attention to Iran, recognizing that a lot of the leaders in their government, they are from an extremist belief in the 12th Imam, and they think...
This dude is saying that Iran has extreme beliefs. Love it. Love everything about it. The irony is so thick. This guy is one of, well, this guy's dad, we'll say, is responsible for a lot of the lies told about the Constitution. His dad claims to be a constitutional scholar. He's not. Or a constitutional expert, a historian. He's not. He's not any of those things. I'm not opposed to people claiming expertise even if they haven't gone to school for it necessarily. But this guy has a bachelor's degree from Liberty University in divinity, first of all. And second, he lies non-stop about the Constitution. I can't tell if he even has any expertise because he lies so much. Anyway, that's this guy's dad, David Barton. This is Tim Barton, and he goes around and spreads the exact same lies.
That there's this imam who's been, in essence, like hiding out in a cave somewhere. I don't know. But in the midst of war and chaos, he's going to return. Almost like as Christians, we believe in the return of Jesus. They believe in the 12th imam to some extent, and they think he's going to come back and bring order and kill all of the infidels, the Christians, the Jews, the non-believers. But I say that because
I'm not actually sure this is true. He's hedging a little more than I'm comfortable with here. Give me a second. 1 second here. VBS pastor stages a mock execution in front of 6-year-olds. I just wanted to record the data here. We're running analysis on this file as well. And see if I can find info specifically on what he said there. Hold on. Sorry, 1 second. All right. Just a second. I'm sorry. All right, let me play this and we'll continue and I'll find out.
They have been very motivated to not want peace. They want war because they think when we have another world war, that's what brings the imam back. So I'm not surprised of what they did. As Josh pointed out, I think President Trump has been very controlled in this. I think partly because his team recognizes this is not really popular with the American people, to politically speaking, and they really want to be able to have success in the midterms, to be able to try to get more of his agenda done through legislative process than just executive order. But ultimately, no, I'm not surprised by what's going on. I think President Trump is going to work very hard to find peace. but I think he's got his work cut out for him because you have extremists who.
I'm sorry. Trump is going to work hard to find peace, he says, but he has his work cut out for him. Really? These people are such fucking jokes, dude.
Literally only want war and chaos because they think that's part of their ideology that brings back their 12th imam.
This is so funny. Like, this dude has no self-awareness at all, does he?
Yeah, the whole 12er thing. Let me go to you, Andrew.
Right, 12er thing. The belief in the 12th Imam, the Mahdi, Muhammad al-Mahdi, who went into occultation and will return, is core 12er Shia doctrine. Iran's state religion, roughly 90% of Iranians officially, although they're very secular. A lot of people don't realize this, but Iran is, I believe, majority secular. It's not an extremist belief held by a few leaders. It's orthodox and mainstream, closer to how Christians hold the second coming. I'm just looking through here. Iran's leaders, though, do not want war and chaos to hasten the Mahdi's return. Mainstream 12er theology is the opposite. So that's completely made up. It's quietist, apparently. The return comes on divine timing. You don't provoke it. The accelerate through chaos strain is associated with the Hojate Society, a fringe the Iranian establishment has actually distrusted and suppressed. Khomeini moved against them, apparently. So, like, everything that he just said is a lie, intended to turn people against Muslims, obviously. All right, I'm going to go get that coffee now. I'll be back in 1 second.
In light of all of this, I agree with these gentlemen.
Actually, I'm going to let this play for a minute, and I'm going to go get some food. So I'll be back.
President Trump's is exhibiting great control, restraint, I guess is better. Because, he just wants to go wipe them out. But he is dealing with so much here at home. So many people from his own party are after him and are defecting right and left and voting against the war. How do you see this playing out?
It is a very tricky situation, Gene, because there's a right thing and there is a popular thing. And we have seen President Trump the last 2 years. He was able to lead with courage and a sense of what is right and true. It is a tricky time because the clock is ticking with the midterms. The question at the moment, what should we do? He tried to negotiate the peace deal, but as Winston Churchill said, you cannot negotiate with the lion, and ultimately the spiritual, religious, and theological nature of the war, it will always tend to pop up. We need to do the work of really educating the right wing of politics, the American Republic, and the actual Republicans, not the Tucker Candace, the left-wing Republicans that they've been kind of pretending to be conservative for the last 5 to 10 years to follow the MAGA hype, and now we're watching their full 180 turn, which wasn't really a turn. You're really getting to see who they really are from within. But the reality is we cannot really stop the war. We can try to postpone it by making peace deals, but eventually the war will happen. We need to pick the right moment, the right place, and the right time, and we need to choose courage to fight the good fight at the right time, because this is a reality. We are negotiating the postponing of the war, but this is a theocratic Ayatollah regime that is fundamentally hinges on the end time, on eschatology. They funded the Hamas attack for October 7th. So you're dealing with fundamentally suicidal lunatics who are trying to bring the end times here and now. We can negotiate financial peace deals, but this will only be for a short period of time. In fact, it wasn't even for a few months or years. It was for a few days. It's only a matter of time before we found the Islamic Ayatollah regime get back to the war and fighting instinct. So it is a very, very tricky circumstance, but the American people need to understand how serious and dangerous this whole dilemma that we might not war, but so many times you need to go to war even though you don't want to go to war.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I've been all over the map here. I have not understood a lot of what Trump was thinking, but as Rick Green's always saying, trust the man in the room, the guy with the power, the one we elected. So, all right, so we've been trusting him. And I really think now, looking back, I think President Trump really knows all of this. He's not dumb. He's hopefully got the right advisors advising him. We definitely have a lot of faith in Marco Rubio. But he knows that all of us know Iran is going to continue to attack. They can't. Their whole history is nothing but Turkey and the Muslim nations, and all. You know, they don't hold to any treaty. They never have. So he knows that. He knows that, but he has to play this out to be able to show, look, we tried, they forced our hand, you know, and I think he was waiting for this. I think he was waiting for them to do something stupid like they did and fire drones, and they go, okay. And I don't know if they couldn't take it, or they're trying to test his resolve, thinking that he's, you know, so concerned about the midterms. I don't know. What do you think, Josh? You know, you hear me rant here a little bit. Do you think this is? Do you agree with that with President Trump, or am I missing it?
Well, I agree with them. It's like you know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes type situation. The reality is, when it comes to Iran, the alternative, which is frankly wiping the regime off the map, getting rid of the leadership, having America take over their oil industry, and then having us take over the security of the Strait of Hormuz, which Trump actually said is the alternative here, would be better for us. That would be financially better for us. It would be better in terms of security. It would be easier in all reality. You wouldn't have to worry about nuclear weapons or anything like that. The Iranian people would probably be happier too. You know, they're not a country that's been radicalized for that long. You're talking like 1979. A lot of the Iranian people hate the regime too. It would actually be better for the United States to go that route. And so Trump saying, okay, we'll make a deal, so on. I think that is actually even kind of against our interests, frankly. But I do think there's political pressure, there's financial pressure, and I do believe that is pushing it.
I think you're right. Well, part of this deal, and we haven't talked about yet today, is the whole Israel connection. Israel, Hezbollah, Lebanon, remember all of that? Marco Rubio was there. Look what happened.
As I said, today is the first step. This first step sometimes is the hardest one, but it's an important one and the one we've taken together. And we're very grateful that this has come about and that the timing is such that all of you could cover it and report it back. And hopefully we'll have many more of these conversations and make real and tangible progress so that the people of both of these countries can be hopeful about their future, a future of peace, a future of prosperity, a future of mutual coexistence in a way that's beneficial to the men and women and children, including those not yet born, who deserve what all people deserve, and that is the right to live in their country without fear of harm, without fear of war, without fear of conflict. And that's what we hope to be able to facilitate and achieve. And today we've taken the first step in what will be a difficult journey, without a doubt, but an important and an essential and a necessary one. And we're very proud to be a part of it.
All right, so you may be asking, so what does this agreement really mean? All right, so let me give you the highlights. U.S., Israel, Lebanon signed a U.S. brokered framework for future peace. Israel will keep a security zone until Hezbollah is disarmed. IDF will retain freedom to act against threats in that zone. I mean, this is kind of like, well, duh, they have the right to defend themselves. 2 pilot areas will transition to Lebanese army control after the Hezbollah infrastructure is dismantled. The U.S. will oversee the implementation of the agreement, and Israel called the deal a strategic win, we needed Israel to say this, saying it prevents an unconditional withdrawal and sidelines Hezbollah and Iran from Lebanon's security future. What do you think here, Tim? Good move, bad move, or was it inevitable?
Yeah, well, I think ultimately it's great that President Trump, through Marco Rubio, has been able to help navigate and negotiate some of this. One of the things that the Flashpoint Army has heard many times, you have led so well on this, and so many people we've had on the show have talked about the reality of what Israel is having to deal with, the nations that surround them, the ideology that wants to destroy them. And of course, in America now, as we're navigating people that have been like a wave tossed by the wind, so to speak, of a Tucker Carlson who, well, Israel controls America. And now we have America helping broker a peace deal. I can't wait to see how he tries to spin this one. But the reality is President Trump has been doing this kind of stuff his entire administration. He's been helping bring peace in places where it's needed. But the fact that also he has helped be able to maintain for Israel that they still have the right to defend themselves, which, as you point out, should be a no-brainer. This should be an obvious thing that shouldn't be confusing or complicated. But I think it's really good because it at least it won't stop dumb people from saying dumb things, but at least it takes away some of the dumb connections they've been trying to make, and showing that the American-Israel connection is a bad thing for America, which, of course, I don't think it is at all. I think there's a lot of biblical reasons that we should be friends with Israel, supporting Israel, and we don't even have to get into the geopolitics of that. But ultimately, I do think this was a great deal from the Trump administration. And again, kudos to Marco Rubio for leading so well. And maybe we start chanting Marco Rubio coming up in 2028 because he's doing an incredible job.
Well, that was my next question, Tim. Everybody I've talked to, and I know I have a small world, but I believe that I don't hear anybody that has brought up, oh, we want J.D. Vance. They're all Marco Rubio. It's got to be a little tense in the White House, don't you think?
Well, I think right now people are certainly thinking ahead, but I think there's enough action going on. I don't think Marco Rubio is thinking of the ambitions he has for the future. I think right now he's thinking we maybe have 2.5 years left, relatively guaranteed that they can actually accomplish things. And so I think a lot of people are staying in their lane, are recognizing the role and the opportunities that God has put before them, that God's opened some doors and they are running headfirst through these doors. And so I'm sure there's some behind the scenes friction. As you mentioned, most people that we know are way more impressed with Marco Rubio. But I mean, you certainly have people like Erica Kirk who's come out supporting J.D. Vance. There are people that support J.D. Vance. There's probably people cheering for Pete Hegseth. But one of the things that, Gene, you've acknowledged we can repeat again, the fact that we have this incredible stable of these amazing race horses, that we have a slew of amazing candidates. This is a wonderful problem to have, as opposed to the Democrats who have a Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris or James Tallarico, who overall the majority of the country do not like and support. So I think it's a good problem. But again, I think most of what we're seeing right now, they're going to stay in their lane and focus on the mission at hand, which is what's best for America.
And that's exactly what they should be doing. So good point. All right, so down under here, Andrew, I want to hear what's the temperature? I mean, you're our correspondent in Australia, so tell us what are you hearing? What's the media saying in Australia about this whole thing with Iran and America?
Well, as usual, we're a very far left-wing country propagating the idea that President Trump is a warmonger. But the reality is there's a time for peace and a time for war. And if there was a time to have war, it would be during the Trump administration. The reason I say that, we have had war across Joe Biden, across Obama, across the last 20 years, and America was not able to actually serve its interest. I am more of a team Marco Rubio, personally. I think his leadership strategy has been peace through strength. I think there has been moral clarity, moral courage, and actual definition of what does it mean to be a conservative at this point of time, because we are watching now the infiltration and the takeover of the Republican Party, of MAGA, of what does it mean to be a conservative? Does being a Muslim means you can be a conservative? Is Sharia law, the Hadith, the Quran, Zahra Mamdani, socialism, communism? We're watching now the redefinition of what does it mean to be a conservative. The same time 1 year ago, we're asking what is woman, what is man? It was a very stupid question. At the moment, we're asking the basic and very critical question, what does it mean to be a Republican and what does it mean to be a conservative? And I do believe Marco Rubio have been able to answer and tackle this very critical question without being an opportunist, because next election will be about socialism and the Islamization of America. You have watched a few days ago, even yesterday, the rise of another Muslim socialist candidate in New York. So at the moment, you're watching the takeover of the Democrat with the Socialist Islamic Alliance. It doesn't look like Gavin Newsom and Obama are going to win the party. I can clearly see Dohram Mamdani is going to become the Trump of the left-wing movement. So we will need moral clarity, moral courage, and proper definitions, so we don't say trans woman or woman. In a Republican sense, we're now saying Muslim Americans are conservative, even though Islam is fundamentally against the Constitution to establish Sharia law. So I'm not really sure at the moment, what does it actually mean to be a conservative? And that is actually going to be a very important question that people are shying off. But we have seen the transformation of Tucker to not just be anti-Israel, but to be pro-Islam. We have seen the transformation of Candace to not just not like the Jews, but to blame Israel for killing Charlie Kirk. So we are in a critical moment where it's either we're going to be offensive to define what we are, or the radical fringe will end up overtaking the party, which is already happening in the Democratic Party.
We're gonna break all that down after the break, but I do think you're right. First off, Tucker is saying he's no longer a Republican. Big deal. We don't consider you a Republican anyway. But there is a difference between conservative and Republican. And I'm, in my own world, I use that conservative in the truest sense of the term, not in the Republican sense of the term, because the Republican, I mean, if you're a Murkowski Republican, you're not conservative. There, I'll just leave it there. All right, let me show you what President Trump, we'll move towards the whole communism, socialism. We'll get a couple of clips here before we go to the break. Here's what President Trump had to say about religious liberty. Watch.
In May of last year, I established the Presidential Commission on Religious Liberty to outline threats to the free exercise of religion in our country and to provide recommendations for action. America was founded by people of faith, and it was set.
All right, I'm back. And Kashmir's meowing at me. And I have to pet him. I have to give him pets. Because I don't know if you guys were here at the start, but I'm losing him. We're putting him down tomorrow. He has aggressive cancer. Okay. Let's continue. He's meowing. Should we keep the emojis? Probably, right? I'll keep the emojis. The Kashmir emojis. Yeah. All right. Let's continue while I eat. And then we'll hit another subject soon. 12. Yeah, here we are. Okay.
In light of all of this, I agree with these gentlemen. President Trump's is exhibiting great control, restraint, I guess is better. Because, he just wants to go wipe them out. But
with how cavalier they say that shit is so disturbing, dude. To just say he wants to wipe them all out. He's talking about civilians here. Give the cute cat lots of cuddles. Can do. Absolutely. So very sorry. Thank you. It sucks.
He is dealing with so much here at home. So many people from his own party are after him and are defecting right and left and voting against the war. How do you see this playing out?
It is a very tricky situation, Gene, because there's the right thing and there is a popular thing. And we have seen President Trump the last 2 years. He was able to lead with courage and a sense of what is right and true. It is a tricky time because the clock is ticking with the midterms. The question at the moment, what should we do? He tried to negotiate the peace deal, but as Winston Churchill said, you cannot negotiate with the lion, and ultimately the spiritual, religious, and theological nature of the war, it will always tend to pop up. We need to do the work of really educating the right wing of politics, the American Republic.
I'm sorry, this guy has a British accent, and I cannot understand a fucking word out of his mouth. Be less British, sir.
And the actual Republicans, not the Tucker Candace, the left-wing Republicans that they've been kind of pretending to be conservative for the last 5 to 10 years to follow the MAGA hype, and now we're watching their full 180 turn, which wasn't really a turn. You're really getting to see who they really are from within. But the reality is, we cannot really stop the war. We can try to postpone it by making peace deals, but eventually the war will happen. We need to pick the right moment, the right place, and the right time, and we need to choose courage to fight the good fight at the right time, because this is a reality.
Bro, I have no fucking clue what this guy is trying to communicate right now. He wants pets.
We are negotiating the postponing of the war, but this is a theocratic Ayatollah regime that is fundamentally hinges on the end time, on eschatology. They
Not true. That whole thing that he's saying here is a lie.
funded the Hamas attack for October 7th. So you're dealing with fundamentally suicidal lunatics who are...
No. You're mixing up multiple religious groups, multiple like Muslim groups. You're mixing them all up. That's not what the Iranians believe. The Iranians are not like suicide bombers or whatever. But okay, whatever.
Trying to bring the end times here and now.
That's not happening.
We can negotiate financial peace deals, but this will only be for a short period of time. In fact, it wasn't even for a few months or years. It was for a few days. It's only a matter of time before we found the Islamic Ayatollah regime get back to the war and fighting instinct. So it is a very, very tricky circumstance, but the American people need to understand how serious and dangerous this whole dilemma that we might not war, but so many times you need to go to war even though you don't want to go to war.
Yeah.
That whole thing was a giant nonsensical tirade. I don't understand what he was trying to communicate with any of that. What the fuck?
Absolutely. And you know, I've been all over the map here. I have not understood a lot of what Trump was thinking, but as Rick Green's always saying, trust the man in the room, the guy with the power, the one we elected. So, all right, so we've been trusting him. And I really think now, looking back, I think President Trump really knows all of this. He's not dumb.
He's not? We talking about the same guy? We talking about the dude who believes Diet Coke kills cancer if you drink it because it kills grass, so it must also kill cancer? We talking about the same dude? We talking about the guy who, what was it? There was something else that was absolutely ridiculous. I'm trying to remember what it was. What was it that... Some of the stupidest beliefs of his. Help me out in the chat. I can't remember. I was just talking about this yesterday. The Diet Coke one's pretty bad.
He's hopefully got the right advisors advising him. We definitely have a lot of faith in Marco Rubio, but he knows.
Oh, I remember. I'm sorry. Hang on. Siri, turn on living room air conditioner. He believes if you exercise more, you will die sooner. Because he thinks you get a certain number of heartbeats in your life. And it, like 1 billion or something. And if you go over that billion beat limit, then you die. And exercising makes your heart beat faster. So he never lets his heart beat too fast. Seriously.
That all of us know Iran is going to continue to attack. They can't, their whole history is nothing but Turkey and the Muslim nations and all, you know, they don't hold to any treaty. They never have.
Yes, they have. They were holding to the Iran nuclear deal pretty well.
So he knows that. He knows that. But he has to play this out.
Oh, yeah, Tylenol causes autism. But see, the thing about that one and the COVID one is that was politically motivated, or those were political issues. You could feasibly say maybe Donald Trump was just trying to spread that stuff for political reasons to benefit himself politically, right? Like the Tylenol autism thing. But he has believed the billion beat thing for decades, literal decades. He has believed the Coca-Cola kills cancer bit for a long time. Many, many years. So the point here is that he was that fucking stupid, completely disconnected from any politically charged issues. He has always been a fucking moron. Always. It's the point.
Be able to show, look, we tried. They forced our hand. You know, and I think he was waiting for this. I think he was waiting for them to do something stupid like they did and fire drones and they go, okay. And I don't know if they couldn't take it or they're trying to test his resolve, thinking that he's, you know, so concerned about the midterms. I don't know. What do you think, Josh? You know, you hear me rant here a little bit. Do you think this is, do you agree with that with President Trump, or am I missing it?
Well, I agree with them. It's like, you know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes type situation.
Right. So he wants Trump to be tough, but he's not literally murdering people at a rate that you want him to, right? And that's a problem for you.
The reality is, when it comes to Iran, the alternative, which is frankly wiping the regime off the map, getting rid of the leadership, having America take over their oil industry, and then having us take over the security of the Strait of Hormuz, which Trump actually said is the alternative.
Good fucking luck on that one.
Here would be better for us. That would be financially better for us. It would be better in terms of security. It would be easier in all reality. You wouldn't have to
to steal a bunch of shit from other people. So easy, right?
Worry about nuclear weapons or anything like that. The Iranian people would probably be happier too. You know, they're not a country that's been radicalized for that long. You're talking like 1979. A lot of the Iranian people hate the regime too. It would actually be better for the United States to go that route. And so Trump saying, okay, we'll make a deal, so on. I think that is actually even kind of against our interests, frankly. But I do think there's political pressure, there's financial pressure. And
what a truly evil thing to say. He wants to steal all of their shit, their oil, their everything, kill all of their leaders and take control. Is that the Christian thing to do? Of course, this guy works for the Falun Gong, like, propaganda arm, so. Check this out in the background. I've never noticed this before. That's cool, right? That little creature there? I'm turning on 3D, turning it on and off. That's what happens when you're using a capture card.
I do believe that is pushing it.
I think you're right. Well, part of this deal, and we haven't talked about yet today, is the whole Israel connection. Israel, Hezbollah, Lebanon, remember all of that? Marco Rubio was there. Look what happened.
As I said, today is the first step. This first step sometimes is the hardest one, but it's an important one and the one we've taken together. And we're very grateful that this has come about and that the timing is such that all of you could cover it and report it back.
Marco Rubio is a true diplomat. He's very good at diplomacy, at making people feel heard, at negotiations, that kind of thing. I can't believe he wants to be associated with the Trump administration. That is a deal with the devil if I've ever seen one. There's a creature again. Now he's sleeping. He was drinking out of a river. Interesting.
And hopefully we'll have many more of these conversations and make real and tangible progress. so that the people of both of these countries can be hopeful about their future, a future of peace, a future of prosperity, a future of mutual coexistence in a way that's beneficial to the men and women and children, including those not yet born, who deserve what all people deserve, and that is the right to live in their country without fear of harm, without fear of war, without fear of conflict.
So we're arresting the Israeli leadership then, is what you're saying, right?
And that's what we hope to be able to facilitate and achieve. And today we've taken the first step in what will be a difficult journey, without a doubt, but an important and an essential and a necessary one. And we're very proud to be a part of it.
All right, so you may be asking, so what does this agreement really mean? All right, so let me give you the highlights. U.S., Israel, Lebanon signed a U.S. brokered framework for future peace. Israel will keep a security zone until Hezbollah is disarmed. IDF will return.
Oh my God, dude. They've been saying that for fucking who knows how long. They're going to keep a security zone until Hezbollah is disarmed. That's been the rule this entire fucking time. Are you shitting me right now? This is not going to end, is it?
Retain freedom to act against threats in that zone. I mean, this is kind of like, well, duh, they have the right to defend themselves. 2 pilot areas will transition to Lebanese army control after the Hezbollah infrastructure is dismantled. The U.S. will oversee the implementation of the agreement, and Israel called the deal a strategic win, we needed Israel to say this, saying it prevents an unconditional withdrawal and sidelines Hezbollah and Iran from Lebanon's security future. What do you think here, Tim? Good move, bad move, or was it inevitable?
Yeah, well, I think ultimately it's great that President Trump, through Marco Rubio, has been able to help navigate, negotiate some of this. One of the things that
literally anything that Trump does is a good move in their mind. I'm surprised he even asks that. I guess he's just lining them up, kind of teeing them up, and letting them knock it out of the park, right? With this.
The Flashpoint Army has heard many times. You have led so well on this, and so many people we've had on the show have talked about the reality of what Israel is having to deal with, the nations that surround them, the ideology that wants to destroy them. And of course, in America now, as we're navigating people that have been like a wave tossed by the wind, so to speak, of a Tucker Carlson who, well, Israel controls America, and now we have America helping broker a peace deal. I can't wait to see how he tries to spin this one, but
I mean, America's been trying to broker a peace deal with Israel for a very long time, and they just can't, obviously.
The reality is, President Trump has been doing this kind of stuff his entire administration. He's been helping bring peace in places where it's needed, but
Donald Trump bringing peace? Please.
Fact that also he has helped be able to maintain for Israel that they still have the right to defend themselves, which, as you point out, should be a no-brainer. This should be an obvious thing that shouldn't be confusing.
You're right. Okay. They have a right to defend themselves. Now let me modify that a bit so that we're all on the same page. Defending yourself, or genocide is not defending yourself. Genocide is genocide. Now just tack that on the end, and I think we can agree. Israel has a right to defend itself. Defending itself does not mean genocide. You're not allowed to genocide people.
Complicated, but I think it's really good because it at least it won't stop dumb people from saying dumb things, but at least it takes away some of the dumb connections they've been trying to make and showing that the American-Israel connection is a bad thing for America, which of course I don't think it is at all. I think there's a lot of biblical reasons that we should be friends with Israel.
I don't give a fuck about your stupid fucking biblical reasons to be friends with some country that existed 2,000, 4,000 years ago and suddenly popped up out of nowhere again like 50 years ago. I couldn't possibly care less, literally impossible for me to care less about your stupid bullshit about being friends with some old religion or some old country or whatever. What I care about is not funding a literal genocide. That's what I care about.
supporting Israel, and we don't even have to get into the geopolitics of that. But ultimately, I do think this was a great deal from the Trump administration. And again, kudos to Marco Rubio for leading so well. And maybe we start chanting Marco Rubio coming up in 2028 because he's doing an incredible job.
Well, that was my next question, Tim. Everybody I've talked to, and I know I have a small world, but I believe that I don't hear anybody that has brought up, oh, we want J.D. Vance. They're all Marco Rubio. It's got to be a little tense in the White House, don't you think?
Well, I think right now people are certainly thinking ahead, but I think there's enough action going on. I don't think Marco Rubio is thinking of the ambitions he has for the future. I think right now he's thinking we maybe have 2.5 years left, relatively guaranteed that they can actually accomplish things. And so I think a lot of people are staying in their lane, are recognizing the role and the opportunities that God has put before them, that God's opened some doors and they are running headfirst through these doors. And so I'm sure there's some behind the scenes friction. As you mentioned, most people that we know are way more impressed with Marco Rubio. But I mean, you certainly have people like Erica Kirk who's come out supporting J.D. Vance.
That's interesting. Yeah. I don't think there's anybody that's going to be able to take the reins of MAGA the way that Trump holds those reins. There's no way that anybody's going to be able to. Even J.D. Vance. It's just not going to happen. J.D. Vance was a stand-in. He was somebody who basically said, I will do whatever you ask, no questions asked. That's why he got that job. He's not charismatic. He's not interesting. He's not a front runner for anything. Nobody gives a shit about him. I find that interesting. I guess we're going to have to see what happens next, but I believe that MAGA is going to completely collapse sooner rather than later.
There are people that support J.D. Vance. There's probably people cheering for Pete Hegseth. But one of the things that, Gene, you've acknowledged we can repeat again, the fact that we have this incredible stable of these amazing race horses, that we have a slew of amazing candidates.
You do? You have amazing candidates in J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio? Are you fucking kidding me?
This is a wonderful problem to have as opposed to the Democrats who have a Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris or James Tallarico, who overall the majority of the country do not like and support. So,
though that's simply false. You think the majority of the country likes and supports J.D. Vance? Really?
That's right.
I think it's a good problem, but again, I think most of what we're seeing right now, they're going to stay in their lane and focus on the mission at hand, which is what's best for America.
And that's exactly what they should be doing. So good point. All right, so down under here, Andrew, I want to hear what's the temperature? I mean, you're our correspondent in Australia, so tell us what are you?
Oh, it's Australian, not British. I could not for the life of me figure out exactly where that accent was from.
Hearing what's the media saying in Australia about this whole thing with Iran and America?
Well, as usual, we're a very far left-wing country propagating the idea that President Trump is a warmonger. But
a warmongerer. You're far left propagating that Trump is a warmongerer. Not a warmonger, a warmongerer, you see. Okay, got it. And Australia, far left? Okay.
Reality is there's a time for peace and a time for war. And if there was a time to have war, it would be during the Trump administration. The reason I say that, we have had war across Joe Biden, across Obama, across the last 20 years. And America.
And is that good? War with Biden and, I mean, what war did Biden start, though? He didn't start when he pulled us out of Afghanistan. But war with Obama, you're using that as a justification to go to war under Trump? Really?
America was not able to actually serve its interest. I am more of a team Marco Rubio, personally. I think his leadership strategy has been...
Hey, immigrant, right? Isn't this guy an immigrant to the United States? I assume he's in the United States from Australia. I thought immigrants weren't allowed to have, or let me rephrase, I thought non-U.S. citizens weren't allowed to have political opinions. Suddenly they can if they agree with you. That's okay with you if they agree. Interesting.
Through strength, I think there has been moral clarity, moral courage, and actual definition of what does it mean to be a conservative at this point of time, because we are watching now the infiltration and the takeover of the Republican Party, of MAGA, of what does it mean to be a conservative. Does being a Muslim means you can be a conservative? Is Sharia law, the Hadith, the Quran, Zohran Mamdani, socialism, communism? We're watching now the redefinition of what does it mean to be a conservative. The same time 1 year ago, we're asking what is woman, what is man? It was a very stupid question. At the moment, we're asking the basic and very critical question, what does it mean to be a Republican?
We're asking that question. You got a mouse in your pocket? There you go, Nerical. I'm not sure Nerical is here, but if Nerical is here, I did it. We did it.
And what does it mean to be a conservative? And I do believe Marco Rubio have been able to answer and tackle this very critical question without being an opportunist, because next election will be about socialism and the Islamization of America.
Fucking please, dude. When they don't have any other enemies, they have to claim Muslims are out to get them.
You have watched a few days ago, even yesterday, the rise of another Muslim socialist candidate in New York. So at the moment, you're watching the takeover of the Democrat with the Socialist Islamic Alliance. It doesn't look like Gavin Newsom and Obama are going to win the party. I can clearly see Zohran Mamdani is going to become the Trump of the left-wing movement. So
okay, but he can't run for president, so
we would need moral clarity, moral courage, and proper definitions, so we don't say trans woman or woman. In a Republican sense, we're now saying Muslim Americans are conservative, even though Islam is fundamentally against the Constitution to establish Sharia law. So I'm not really sure at the moment.
Bro, I am so goddamn fucking lost. What is this guy talking about right now?
What does it actually mean to be a conservative? And that is actually going to be a very important question that people are shying off. But we have seen the transformation of Tucker to not just be anti-Israel, but to be pro-Islam. We have seen the transformation of Candace to not just not...
Wait, Tucker is not pro-Islam. What? Tucker Carlson. We're talking about the same Tucker, right? This dude thinks Tucker Carlson is pro-Islam? It's seriously wild to watch people lie and propagandize about people they used to like. Suddenly, you will say absolutely anything about them to get them destroyed.
Like the Jews, but to blame Israel for killing Charlie Kirk. So we are in a critical moment where it's either we're going to be offensive to define what we are, or the radical fringe will end up overtaking the party.
Okay, how are you going to offend me by telling me who you are? Can you elaborate?
Which is already happening in the Democratic Party.
We're gonna break all that down after the break, but I do think you're right. First off, Tucker is saying he's no longer a Republican. Big deal. We don't consider you a Republican anyway.
Oh, shit. Mommy and Daddy are fighting.
But there is a difference between conservative and Republican. And I'm, in my own world, I use that conservative in the truest sense of the term, not in the Republican sense of the term, because the Republican, I mean, if you're a Murkowski Republican, you're not conservative. There.
That's completely false. Isn't Murkowski a Republican, but she's opposed to Donald Trump, and that's like the limit of it? That's all there is to it? In his mind, if you are not fully pro-Trump, then you are not American, and you're not conservative, and you're not Republican. You can only be those things if you fully support Trump. Absolutely psychotic, dude.
Just leave it there. All right, let me show you what President Trump. We'll move towards the whole communism, socialism. We'll get a couple of clips here before we go to the break. Here's what President Trump had to say about religious liberty. Watch.
In May of last year, I established the Presidential Commission on Religious Liberty to outline threats to the free exercise of religion in our country and to provide recommendations for action. America was founded by people of faith, and it was settled as a haven for religious freedom. So important as we prepare to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our founding next week, it is only appropriate that we work to strengthen this fundamental right and to most essentially have liberty for generations to come. We want religious liberty. We want liberty, but we also want religious liberty.
I want religious liberty too. I want the religious liberty to make choices for my own life without anyone else interfering or hijacking or changing the choices that I make for their religious reasons. Can't we all make our own choices for our own lives? If these people had it their way, the answer would be no. You shouldn't make choices for your own life. You should be following exactly what Christian nationalists want you to do. That's the idea. Fucking psychotic. Is this the moment when Dan Patrick, the lieutenant governor of Texas, came up and said, separation of church and state isn't real?
We will closely study this report that is being presented to me as president today, and my administration will continue to work with the pillars of protecting religious liberty for all Americans, and we must also remain one nation under God. We will never let that phrase be stolen from us. You know, people are trying to steal it. We all know that very well. That phrase will never be stolen. It will stand proudly in our courts and everywhere else where we have it.
All right, so Josh, what do you think? I mean, this sounds great to the American people, the people that watch this program, even the left-leaning people know that's what we like.
I know that's what you like, but that doesn't sound good.
So do you see this as working? I mean, listen, I got appointed. Let me just toot my own horn. I was appointed an advisor to the Religious Liberty Commission. Great.
Holy fucking shit. Not that. No, not Gene Bailey. Please fucking no. He was an advisor to the Religious Liberty Commission? This fucking guy? He's literally a Trump theologist.
That's wonderful. I can't tell you anything that we've done that I felt, and I could be wrong, that we've really attacked a serious issue. I really don't know of one.
I would agree with you because, yeah, I'm aware that Trump actually had this, religious liberty coalition, I guess you could call it, right? That they formed to investigate this stuff. I actually have not seen any major announcements in terms of action. They have come up with reports identifying weaponization of government targeting Christians, right, or Catholics, where they were labeling them as extremists. Even in.
No, he's talking about one very specific event where Catholics were. There was an actual Catholic extremist network, an underground right-wing extremist network that was operating, and they were discovered by the FBI and tracked for a while. That's what happened. That's what he's talking about. They were not persecuting fucking Catholics, please. Hang on. All right.
Military documents, in fact. We know about people who were prosecuted for, blocking entrances allegedly to, abortion clinics.
Wow, that's fascinating. He didn't even give the official line from this. No, you're supposed to say they were prosecuted for praying. That's not what happened, obviously. There were injuries. They literally got somebody killed in the process of blocking an entrance. They broke some woman's arm, I think. They were literally violent rioters. Hang on, I'm turning on a different game. Though that is a good game, I'm a little tired of it at the moment. You're going to play another. I'm not sure what yet. Give it a second. Oh, yeah. Link's Awakening. I guess we could play that. All right, let's continue. I think the point is to normalize public unaliving to the kids. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I'm sorry. I didn't hit that earlier. I saw that message, and I forgot to address it. I hope you're still here, DonarExe. But anyway, yeah, that was absolutely the point.
For religious reasons. But I
step back here.
Blocking entrances allegedly to, abortion clinics for religious reasons.
For religious reasons. Blocking entrances to businesses for religious reasons. Yeah, you can just go block entrances to, organizations, to companies, to whatever, if you feel like it. If it's for religious reasons, right? Totally.
But I do think Trump at least publicly recognizing what America stands for. That if I were to say America really stands for anything in terms of what we represent for the world, it is religious liberty. Mm-hmm. It's the right to believe in what you want, to defend your religion with your speech.
No fucking way he believes this. I think what he means to say is Donald Trump stands for corruption. That is the thing he is best known for, right?
Criticize the more.
Oh, yeah, and forcing other people to follow your religious beliefs.
It's the right to believe in what you want, to defend your religion with your speech, to criticize the morality of government or lack thereof from a value standpoint, and to defend your faith from tyranny.
If that's what they were doing, I'd be all in. I fight for that every fucking day of my life. But that's not what they're doing.
I think that is the cornerstone of the United States. So at the very least, acknowledging that, I think, is a first step.
True. All right, let me show you what President Trump had to say about communism, socialism. It's all coming to the U.S. It's already here. Watch.
We want to restart the war on Christians and churches. And as you saw with the communists elected in New York City recently, they're communists, they're not social democrats.
Okay. You know what's really fascinating about this? These words came out of Hitler's lips, too. Not to say that Trump is Hitler. He's literally not. He's literally Donald Trump. But he's borrowing a lot of stuff from Germany. I think that's horrifying and bizarre. They said they're not social democrats, which, by the way, was the name of the political party, the left-wing party, in Germany at the time. They literally said they're not social democrats, they're communists.
They want to completely destroy the traditional American way of life. Communism is very easy to sell. It destroys everything, but it's very easy. I'll be honest, I think I'd be the greatest communist in history. I'd give free rent. Ladies and gentlemen, from now on, you don't have to pay any rent. From now on, anybody wants a house, don't worry about it. Just pick the house you want.
That's not how communism works. That's not how literally anything works. But okay.
Everybody.
And that's certainly not how social democracy works. Nobody ever said that they wanted to do that. It's complete delusion.
Everybody gets free food. Everything is free from this point forward. Everyone's going to vote for me. The problem is, after 2 or 3 years, the country is a disaster area. The country fails. They always do. It always does. So easy to sell. That first year, boy, you're the most popular. It's happening right now in New York and California. But you'll start living in squalor. You'll live in squalor. There will be no food.
Okay, well, I simply disagree. Because first of all, that's not happening in California. There is nothing even like approximating socialism, let alone communism. And second, I'm from New York City. I'm from Manhattan. And it's not squalor. There's a reason why everybody and their brother would give their left nut to live there. Because it's big and beautiful. And an economic powerhouse.
There will be no housing. There will be no military. There will be no law and order. There will be no nothing. There will be no nothing. You'll be a third world inhabitant in every way, and everyone will suffer or die.
Like, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. I'm going to find a video.
You'll suffer or die. That's what happens. The Democrats have taken a tremendous turn left, and many of these people, I looked at some of the people that got elected the other night in New York. These are, in many ways, stupid people. In some ways, and intellectually, probably pretty smart. But they're people that want to destroy our country. They hate our country. They hate our people. They hate the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is in big trouble.
The Democrat Party is in big trouble. We're going to talk about that. And I'm going to ask, and after the break, I'm going to ask Andrew Cedra. I can't ask him now because he'll go for 30 minutes. What about religious liberty? Does that mean Islam has religious liberty in America?
Yes, obviously. Everybody fucking has religious liberty. Okay, I can't find the video I was looking for, but the video was basically a bunch of British people being asked, would you live in America? And they're all like, fuck no. Absolutely no way in hell would I live in America. They act like they have all these freedoms, but everybody has these freedoms. In fact, I lose more rights going to America than I have here. So people like in America pretend we have all these rights and these religious liberties and all this other shit. It's nonsense. None of that shit is true, okay? Europe is a significantly better place to live in pretty much every single way. And people say, well, if you love it so much, why don't you just marry it? If I could, I would. If I could move from America and go to Europe, I would. Unfortunately, that's just not possible for me. I don't want to live in another fucking fascist dictatorship. Or I don't want to live in a fascist dictatorship anymore, which is what we are in. And if you don't believe that, then you haven't been outside the United States recently. Like, it fell so fucking fast. Holy shit, dude. I'm just verifying everything is working. It is, right? Everybody still here on Twitch, on YouTube. Just checking here. I think we're good. All right, let's continue.
Talk about that after the break.
Oh, that was the end. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Absolutely wild to hear these people, to hear how these people view society, view the United States. Insane. All right, let's jump forward here. Look at this. Look. Wait. Learn how you can turn the tide on the tsunami of darkness. Get your copy of Killing America. What every American needs to know about the Quran today.
Learn how you can turn the tide on the tsunami of darkness. Get your copy of Killing America and what every American needs to know about the Quran today at fparmy.com.
What the fuck? That is insane. Let's see here. Hang on. Let me just see. Maybe I can find that book. I'll look for it. All right, let's continue on here. Where does this continue? Here. Wow, they're advertising these books hard right now. Okay.
You know, Andrew, there's this...
I'm sorry. Let me see those books one more time. I'm going to try to find them. Killing America. Yep, it is on here. And there's also what every American needs to know about the Quran. A lot of these people hide really, really psychotic shit in these books. This was written in 1957? That's weird. And this one in 2024. Okay. Huh. By the by, check out my book, owenmorgan.com/godspeople. It's about Christian nationalism in the Third Reich, and it's really fascinating in one man's humble opinion. Super fascinating stories that I tell in there. Heavily researched, independent research in archives, the whole nine. So yeah, check that out. All right, did I grab that book? Oh, legal like. Yeah, legal. Let's see. Let me grab this one. All legal like as well. Okay, got them both. Just pulling them up real fast.
Fuckers, I'm coming for you. Yeah. All legal like. Yeah, legal. We'll do it on your terms, motherfuckers. Ugh! Our government needs stopped. Stopped.
Wow. So this book, Killing America, it's by Gene Bailey. 2007. I'm just organizing these real fast. What every American needs to know about the Quran. And then Gene Bailey. All right, now check this out. On Bookforge, I'm going to drag this puppy over. Go to Workspaces, drag and drop. Copying the files over. Let's see. Killing America and what every American needs to know about Islam in the United States. Let me grab the book cover for this. Images. Copy. Paste. And I think this is actually written all the way back in 1957. I'm not super sure. But yeah. Killing America. I'm just trying to grab the book cover for this real fast. Hold on. Yep, got it. Copy image. Paste. Gene Bailey, 2024. Save metadata. Now, how long is this exactly? Let's see here. Let's try pulling this up in the editor and see what it looks like. Hang on. I'm just cleaning this book up real fast. And I'm going to see if I can TTS it. Oops, did not mean to delete the whole thing. We've got notes at the end of each chapter. So just delete, delete. Wow, lots of notes. Delete all of these pages. Delete these notes. All right, I'm going to clean this up. And we're going to listen to Flashpoint while I do. Actually, yeah, we'll listen to Flashpoint.
Islam. Your copy on
it's on that Terry and I wrote, Turning the Tide on the Tsunami of Darkness. We thought we were talking about the election in 24. We were talking more about today than we realized. So make sure you go online and get that. All right. So, you know, Andrew, there's this, everything's been talked about. I'll go ahead and, well, before I let you loose on that comment.
Bro, what's going on? Have you never hosted a show before in your life?
I mean, on that question.
Yeah.
The attempted, I'm still going to say attempted, the attempted Islamification of America is very, very real.
No, it isn't. Oh my God, dude. The level of fear that these people inject into old people's brains should be genuinely illegal.
However, most of us never thought about it in the military until now. Watch.
There's a lot of people, they have questions about Islam, about Muslims, but they have not felt comfortable enough to ask those pertinent questions that they may come up for them. I've heard that we as Muslims don't believe in Jesus. Who's heard that before? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's all right. Yes. Yeah, well, I know that's a popular teaching. Yeah, those Muslims, they don't believe in Jesus. That is not true. He is mentioned more in the Quran than even the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon them both. By name, Jesus is mentioned 25 times. Who has heard that there are Muslims in the world that force people to convert? Who's heard that before?
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, I've heard it before as well. Is that true? Does it happen?
Yes.
Yes, it does. It does happen. Now, is that in alignment with what God says in the Quran?
That's up for interpretation.
No, it does not. It clearly says there is no compulsion in the deen. In the religion, you cannot compel. You can't compel people. You can't force people.
There's actually a lot in Islam that doesn't come from the Quran, that comes from the Hadiths, which is like the sayings of Muhammad, the life of Muhammad or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm just cleaning this book up. Maybe we can read it on air one of these days. For example, one of the things in the Hadiths, but not in the Quran, the burqa, or even the hijab. The hijab is not in the Quran anywhere at all. It was more cultural, like they started pushing women to wear these ridiculous outfits in an attempt to blame them for men's misdeeds, blame them for being taken advantage of. That's what the whole purpose of the hijab is. And as a result, you know, it's spread further and further. It's got bigger and bigger. More and more people believe that wearing a hijab or whatever is mandatory, and so they do. And now we have women dressing in full fucking burqas. It's not good, in my opinion. I would rather we live in a world where Muslim women choose not to wear them, and those choices are respected and honored. But whatever.
God has given us the freedom of choice, the free will to either believe in him or not to believe in him, to either adhere to his commands or to rebel against him. That is our choice. In other words, you do you.
Wait, is this a choice in the same way that, like, reading the Bible is a choice in Christian nationalists' minds in schools?
And I do me.
Oh, that sounds so like we're going to coexist. There are so many lies in that statement, yet it sounds so logical, Andrew. So many lies. Yes, I'll just take the first one.
I mean, this dude was just advocating for a more moderate Islam, and I'm fine with that. That's good. Please, advocate for a more moderate Islam. I want that. I want more moderate people to chill the fuck out and not be nutcases. That would be fantastic, right?
I'll let you go.
I am not.
The first one about Jesus. Yes, they believe in Jesus, but they also believe he's going to come back as a Muslim. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'll let you loose, Andrew. Take it.
Look, Exactly like the left, Muslims do not use language to communicate, they use language to manipulate. When Islam says peace, they mean war.
Wow, dude.
When they say Jesus, they mean the Antichrist. So it's very important, just like the left, we are using the exact same terminology, but when it comes down to it, we're having the opposite definition. The problem with the Muslim Jesus is that the Christian Jesus is a Jew, the Muslim Jesus hates the Jews. The Christian Jesus is coming back to reign in Jerusalem, but the Muslim Jesus is coming back to Jerusalem in the end time eschatologically to lead the armies of Allah to kill and butcher every single Muslim, that the rocks and the trees will cry out, "Hey Muslim, servant of Allah, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill them." In fact, the Muslim Jesus, after he kills all...
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. And I'm not going to excuse that. There is no excuse for that. The Quran is deeply anti-Semitic. However, the Bible is anti-Semitic too. The New Testament particularly is pretty bad. In fact, not just the New Testament, but the Old Testament, the book of Deuteronomy was very, what's the term? Aggressive against Jews. Like, holy shit, dude. They were kind of nutty against Israel specifically. Some of the shit that they said was wild.
The Jews, he's going to break the cross, look toward Mecca, pray the Islamic prayer, become a Muslim. Then he's going to force all the Christians to become Muslim, and all those Christians that will not become Muslim will be killed. That is the reason you saw October 7th. It's like, why would a bunch of barbarians attack Israel when they don't have the weapons, where it's fundamentally eschatological?
I'm sorry, they don't have the weapons. What? Here's one of the biggest problems, in my opinion, with people's perception of Iran. They view them as like cave-dwelling Neanderthals eventually. They have they have universities with nuclear research programs. Okay, they're not some tiny little backward cave-dwelling people in Iran. It is a giant country with 100 million people in it, compared to the US's 300 million. Okay, it's a third the size of the United States. They are not fucking tiny. They are not living in caves. Iran is very, very powerful and not to be trifled with. If you think they're cave dwellers, you are underestimating them, and you're going to look like a fucking fool. You already do, honestly.
For them, they are trying to usher in the end times by bringing the final coming of Jesus Christ, who will lead the armies of Allah to kill the Jews. So it's very, very important. The Muslim Jesus is just a prophet. The Christian Jesus is God. So we need to really get the terms in order. I've said it before. At the moment, the problem in America, what is man? What is woman? What is a republic?
Nobody has a problem with that. Nobody ever had a fucking problem with that.
What is religious liberty? We keep on chucking this word, religious liberty. Islam is using religious liberty to destroy religious liberty. Right. In every single Islamic...
Literally, listen to these fucking people. Islam in the United States is using religious liberty to destroy religious liberty? He has to know he's completely full of shit, right? He has to know that he's lying. This isn't just I'm just a fucking idiot, right? This is him falsifying information with the intent to deceive people.
Nation in the whole entire world under Sharia law, in the 54 of them, and that includes where I was born, Egypt, and I was born in a moderate country. In all of them, if a Muslim become a Christian, they would get killed or go to jail where they get butchered and die. There is literally a case right now in Egypt of a young man by the name of Saeed who just became a Christian, and he's now under terrorism charges to either get death penalty or a lifetime in jail. He's at the moment not being fed, getting tortured, and hanged in a crucifix position right now in the moderate Islamic state of Egypt. So...
Okay, yes. A lot of Muslims treat Christians poorly. as we can see, Christians treat Muslims poorly as well, right? I don't understand. Like, what's the point here? What are you trying to prove with this?
That Muslim guy, I do not know what is he talking about theologically, historically. The Quran doesn't say that. Again, he's very smart because he mentioned a peace verse. Islam, when it started, it was very nice, hippie, and peaceful. The problem is that most Jews and Christians went to Muhammad and he thought he's an idiot. So after 12 years of Muhammad preaching his false demonic gospel, nobody was converted except like 80 to 100 people. It was his mom, his cousin, his auntie, his dog, his wife, whatevs. So
his wife, whatevs. Wow.
The guy is mentioning the peace verses, not the sword verses, which is what Islam became after they preached peacefully and it didn't work. So it's very important. He is hiding the sword verses, which are the verses that...
Boy, yeah, this guy does just go on and on, doesn't he?
Came after the peace verses. There's the principle of Quranic abrogation, which means the verses that came later is more true than the verses that came in the beginning. So
yeah, wow. So there's doctrine in this religion about which verses are more correct. I wonder what religion we know that operates like that. Can you think of any?
The Quran is a very bipolar, contradicting, inconsistent book.
Are you kidding me with this? Dude, really? OwenMorgan.com/bibviz. This is every contradiction in the Bible. Let's just highlight a random one. Does God have a body? God has a body verses. Genesis 3:8, Exodus 33, Exodus 34, Deuteronomy 23, Ezekiel, Habakkuk. God is a spiritual being that has no body. Luke 24:39, John 4:24. What about this one? Let's see. Can God do anything? Versus God can do anything. Genesis 18, Job 42, Jeremiah 32, Matthew 19, Mark 10, Luke 1:37, Luke 18, Revelation 19. There are some things that God cannot do. Judges 1:19, Mark 6:5, Hebrews 6:18. There are contradictions to the entire fucking book. So I don't want to hear it.
It's a very bipolar, contradicting, inconsistent book. That's why Muhammad was told to marry one, then marry two, then marry four, then he married 11.
Yep.
So the whole Quran hinges on inconsistency. So
oh my God, brother, please shut the fuck up. Holy Christ on a cracker.
The big thing people need to know, is this a peace verse or a sword verse? Because the sword verse came after.
All right, I can't handle it anymore. I'm jumping ahead. Holy shit.
This is the part why, with Bill's book and what Andrew just said, we have to understand you cannot read the Quran the same way. Do not regard that book the way you do the Bible. It's not a linear story.
And the Bible is a fully linear story? It's not linear at all. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are contradictory accounts of what happened to Jesus.
One thing building upon the other. It's all over the place. So you can just pull out whatever you want.
Listen to these people say this shit about the Quran. Really? I gotta grab this clip, dude. This is fucking wild. Where are we?
A sword verse, because the sword verse came after the peace verse, which means the sword abrogates the peaceful one, which means the peaceful one is now actually cancelled. So that person, Imam, is actually lying.
Yeah, no, he...
Hold on.
Because the sword verse came after the peace verse, which means the sword abrogates the peaceful one, which means the peaceful one is now actually cancelled. So that person, Imam, is actually lying.
Yeah, no, without a doubt he's lying. And whether he's dumb enough to believe that, but if he's an imam, he must know that. This is the part why, with Bill's book and what Andrew just said, we have to understand you cannot read the Quran the same way. Do not regard that book the way you do the Bible. It's not a linear story, one thing building upon the other. It's all over the place. So you can just pull out whatever you want and you'd be accurately quoting the Quran, but you wouldn't be talking about what is abrogated the last verse. So it's a mess. All right, let me go back to this imam.
Wow.
Let me go back to this.
All right, let's see. The Quran isn't like the Bible. It's a non-linear mess and easy to cherry pick. Really? What?
It's a mess. All right, let me go back about what you want, and you'd be accurately quoting the Quran, but you wouldn't be talking about what is abrogated the one thing building upon the other. It's all over the place. So you can just pull out whatever you want, and you'd be accurately quoting the Quran, but you wouldn't be talking about what is abrogated the last verse. So
that is comically fucking stupid.
It's a mess. All right, let me go back to this imam. Now look at this. Here's a picture, a freeze frame of him. You see what's on, Josh, you see what's on his uniform right
What, a little moon?
there? He's got the moon shape, the Islamic moon. You know, I don't think...
Well, first of all, is this even real? These people will fabricate screenshots just for the sake of lying to their audience. No, I wouldn't be surprised if it's there, but I have learned not to trust a fucking word out of these people's mouths, not one. But second, who gives a fuck? Why do you care? Genuinely. Sorry for missing the show. Stupid hot out. I'm one of those moods again. See you soon. No sweat. Thank you for coming for the time you did. You missed my opportunity to say, is there a mouse in your pocket? I got to say it earlier. But maybe I'll find another opportunity.
You can't put a cross on a uniform. Why is this guy able to do that?
Yeah, well, that is...
Is that true? Hang on. Let me just find out. Give me a second. Let me just see. Hang on. Okay, so the crescent on that guy's uniform, that isn't some special privilege that Islam gets that Christians are denied. It's the military chaplain branch insignia. And every faith gets one. Christian chaplains wear the Latin cross. Jewish chaplains wear the tablets with the Star of David. Muslim chaplains wear the crescent moon. Buddhists get the wheel. Hindus get the Om. It's the exact same system. So that this is just a blatant, bald-faced fucking lie. Of course. You know, what have we come to expect from these people? They lie. They lie like they fucking breathe. So yes, Christians are allowed to do that.
The real question, of course, you know, even the ability of, for example, pastors to invoke a specific religious name was restricted until recently. If you were to, for example, pray in the name of Jesus, you would have been punished by the military. So it is kind of shocking that they can change this, and I do think it's extremely misleading. You know, what are you saying? To the point of all this, I would actually add, you can just...
I don't think anything he said was misleading. It's true that Jesus is a part of Muslim doctrine. That's just what it is. Is he as important to Muslim doctrine as he is to Christian doctrine? Obviously not. But that part was absolutely true. I don't understand what your hang-up is with this. And he even said that there are Muslims who are trying to, like, kill people, like, by force. Yes, that's true. What's the issue here? What's the complaint exactly? What are you trying to say about Muslims? That they, what was the hang up? What was incorrect about what he said?
Judge them by their fruits, right? You can judge something by what it creates. And if what they're creating is totalitarian systems that restrict the rights of every person, that believe in the eradication of anybody who opposes them.
Bro, are you hearing this shit? This dude in another part previously literally said he wants to eradicate Iran. He doesn't think Trump is going hard enough against Iran. They should take out their civilian infrastructure, their bridges and roads and everything. That is what he said. You cannot be fucking real with this.
Something by what it creates. And if what they're creating is totalitarian systems that restrict the rights of every person, that believe in the eradication of anybody who opposes them, that kill people if they leave, that cannot even make their own decisions of whether they practice or not, you're not dealing with a normal religion in that.
Wow, dude. Just the irony here. This is painfully fucking stupid. Again, like, I'm not forgiving Islam for what they do. It's wrong to force people to be in a religion, and Islam does that. They do. They just do, okay? But to sit here and pretend that Christianity doesn't do that? Bro. Did you see Tony Spell beat up a kid? No, I know Tony Spell. I mean, because I've covered him before. What did he do? What happened? I missed this. Oh, shit. And then I think I killed the bat here. And then I killed this guy, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Yes, that was right. Let me see if I can find some info on that. We'll keep listening.
That case. I understand there are different maybe factions that might believe that. But, you know, if the threat of, hey, let us in, everything's going to be fine. But, hey, by the way, if we get enough power, we're going to slaughter and torture everyone who doesn't want to become what we are. That's not a normal belief.
No.
And I think that is part.
Dude, I love the irony here.
Part of the challenge America has, even when it comes to religious liberty. Fine, believe what you want. But if your belief requires the depriving of others of their freedoms, then we need to draw a line.
I love it. I love how completely, like, out of his head he is. How completely vapid this dude is. And how he doesn't seem to realize how hypocritical he's being. Now, let me see. I found the Tony Spell video. Let me see if I can grab it. Probably not, because this is a weird website. All right, let's talk about Tony Spell real fast. There was this pastor named Tony Spell during COVID who was pretending to be like a victim of COVID and claiming that the government was trying to get him and all this other stuff. We're going to talk about him we're going to talk about him in a minute. He went on Alex Jones and stuff a lot. He apparently beat somebody up, some kid. I guess the kid was like 20 years old or something. And he's been arrested for felony battery, I believe. Check this out. They're like fighting in the road. Wow, dude. That is so fucked up and insane. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. He's gonna kill him. He's gonna fucking kill him. He was acting like he's gonna break his neck. What the fuck? This dude is mentally unstable. He's fucking kicking him while he's down. That is insane. Wait, he did something else? Hold on. Check this out. The day after his arrest. Wait, new body cam shows Tony Spell using a slur and threatening a man 2 days after the arrest. Oh boy. Hold up. Why can't I hear it? What's with the audio?
And he's doing this to intimidate. Hold on, slow down, man. Hold on. What's going on exactly?
He's doing this to intimidate my victim's son.
To do what? To cut his grass?
It's 4 in the morning. Do you cut your grass at 4 in the morning?
So he went to this kid's house and mowed his lawn at 4 o'clock in the morning?
But before the sun come up, I don't know what time it be. Normally 6
Disturbing
o'clock.
the peace starts at what time? It ends at what time?
I'm not sure. That's Central PD 8.
Fucking really? You don't know what fucking time disturbing the peace is, police officer?
They deal with Central Ordinance. I'm not sure off the top of my
You
head.
got to get him to stop, man.
To stop what, though? What
Cutting that
exactly?
grass at 4 in the morning. He's keeping my family up. This is like psychological warfare.
All right.
That bitch,
So look,
that shit fucking
look.
crazy.
From right here, I can't even hear his lawnmower. The cars passing by are louder than his lawnmower that we hear.
I was asleep when this started at 4 in the morning.
Okay.
There's more cars now because people are going to work.
Going to work. I
4:30.
understand.
That's
So
shift
look, you
change
got
for Exxon.
you have your ID with you?
It's in the house.
Let me take a look. You got a LA Watt on your phone, maybe?
I do.
All right, let me grab that
Or
for you.
you just want the number.
I don't think he has any obligation to give the police officer an ID, but it goes a long way toward cooperation, and he wants something from this officer, so.
Stay on that side of the road. I got a lot of traffic coming in. C204, let's go for it. What's your name, man?
This looks like a bit of a long video, so before we continue with this, let me just talk about Tony Spell directly and who he is, and we'll circle back around to this. This might be one of Tony Spell's more famous incidents.
He just pulled as far over under the shoulder as he could.
So there's a protester outside of Tony Spell's church because this is during COVID, and pastors are supposed to be doing one of three things during the height of COVID. We're talking, when did this come out? This was 2020. I think this is literally a month after we found out that COVID was happening. Pastors are supposed to be doing one of three things. Either holding church services outside, or holding them online, or spacing their chairs out 6 feet at a bare minimum. Space your chairs out. Take temperatures at the door. It's not that big of a deal, right? Tony Spell refused to do anything. He packed his church even tighter when people, or during the height of COVID, when people were dying and we didn't know what this was or what the side effects would be. Women were having children stillborn because of COVID, and we had no idea how many, like, was this going to be a reproduction crisis? What was going to happen? What's going to happen here? He was intentionally packing people in tighter. Now, we found a new normal for COVID, and we found a way to work around the restrictions and all of that, and we tamed some of the restrictions, and with hindsight, we can see maybe it was a better idea to, not let school out, so on and so forth. But Tony Spell was getting people killed completely recklessly at the time. And there was a protester out there standing alone for COVID safety, obviously. And Tony Spell tried to run the dude over. Twice. Once with his truck here, and then with one of the church buses.
He just pulled as far over under the shoulder as he could without hitting me. He was maybe 6 inches away. And that happened nearly instantaneously. It was just suddenly there's a guy driving 45 miles an hour a few inches from you. I was just shocked and then more shocked. Like, at first I just assumed he was actually trying to turn around his bus. He kept hammering his horn the whole time until he turned around in his driveway. Then he stopped and started backing up at me. By the time it was actually close enough to hit me, I was just kind of in shock.
He literally could not see behind him. I've driven those school buses before, and I know you cannot see what's happening behind you. Not that closely. Tony Spell got in a church bus, put it in reverse, and hit the gas, hoping he would run into this guy. Tony Spell is a danger to society and needs to be put in prison for society's safety. Seriously. What the fuck?
I don't think the pastor could see me anymore. So I don't think it was necessarily intent to not hit me as much as it might have been luck. When the bus stops is about the time I fully realize what's going on.
Here's another one. Hang on.
Any government is... We have a command.
Here you go. Here's a video of Tony Spell getting all bent out of shape about the judgment against him.
Any government is not built on the shoulders of Jesus Christ. That government is headed for a fall. It is impossible to govern a nation without God in the Bible. It is impossible for our Constitution to work in a nation that is not holy and righteously consecrated unto God. Our Constitution was created for a moral and a religious people. It is wholly inadequate in the government of any other.
He's quoting John Adams, who was a complete sack of shit. I cannot stand that dude. He was the worst founding father out of all of them. But anyway, he was just about the only one who wanted a Christian nationalist state. Every other founding father wanted a secular country, obviously, which is why we now have a secular country.
And I know some of you, I've heard you tell me time and time again that we get uncomfortable when you talk about our government.
Okay. Who the fuck has said that to Tony Spell, evangelical pastor?
We get afraid when you call out our government. Well, don't you worry. I hadn't got started real good as of yet. I just want you to know tonight that we have a wicked government that is ruling our world today. I just want you to know tonight that when 3 Republican judges sum up a writ of denial on May the 25th and said that we do not believe that the relator, Pastor Tony Spell's free exercise of religion lies outside of the jurisdiction of government's authority. When they say that, they are saying in no uncertain terms that we do not believe the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. And I just want to serve notice to you 3 Republican judges, Mitch Terrio, Elizabeth Wolfe, and Chris Hester, that you are a godless judge. You have no right to sit on the seat in the United States of America and rule against Christians in America and tell us that we don't have a free exercise of religion. Not only...
Nobody said he didn't have free exercise of religion, but you have to follow some basic guidelines. You can exercise your religion to your heart's content, but either hold services outside or online or space the chairs out 6 feet during a fucking pandemic. Really, a pandemic, okay? Why is this so hard for these people to understand? Like we didn't all make sacrifices for COVID. We all sacrificed. You think I fucking enjoyed COVID?
You against God, but God is against you, because when you come against God's people, you come against God himself.
So if you're opposed to what I'm doing, if you're ruling against me, you're ruling against God himself. That's what he's saying. Dude is a complete piece of shit. Complete piece of shit. Let me find another good one here. Yeah, this was his arrest video. I'm going to speed it up because there's no talking or anything, but he's walking to his church. He's got his Bible. He knows there's a bench warrant out for his arrest, and he's choosing to ignore it and go to church anyway. And they grab him and arrest him, and this is so picturesque, isn't it? A minister being arrested, and they have to take his Bible. That was all very, very intentional. He made sure there was a camera rolling before this happened. He was just a complete piece of shit is the bottom line. Hold on, let me find.
We have not
Here you go. Here's another clip from him.
We have not complied in 18 months, nor will we comply with the next round of shutdowns, mask mandates.
There was never at any point a federal lockdown. There were certain state lockdowns. Is that what he meant when he said lockdown?
Vaccine mandates.
There was never a vaccine mandate anywhere at any point.
Ahab looks at Elijah and says, "You're the one troubling Israel?" No. Elijah is in God's favor. He's God's prophet. He's doing what God told him to do. We are not the ones who are troubling our cities. It's the devil troubling us. It's a wicked, perverse government troubling us because we refuse to mask and we refuse to vax, or we refuse to quit going to church, or we refuse to quit shaking hands.
Like, none of this shit was against the rules or against the law in any way. If he had just held services outside or spaced the chairs out 6 feet, he could have continued holding services and it wouldn't have been an issue. But this is a super spreader event that he was creating. Morgues were filling up with dead fucking bodies. And what was he doing? Spreading COVID more. Hold on, let me fix my... Yeah. The guy is a complete piece of shit, is the bottom line. Just vile. Anyway, let's continue watching. Wait, where? Yeah, here. Let's continue with this. Apparently, he harassed somebody else.
Sure. Last name?
They're taking his information.
Your date of birth? This is a good address for you?
Yes, sir.
Driver's license.
My kid ain't slept since that incident.
I'm not sure what incident you're referring to.
You don't watch the news, do you?
Not when I'm off, no.
Well, that over there beat the shit out of my son in my yard. I put him in the hospital.
I had no recollection. I'm sorry to hear that. What's a good phone number for you?
It feels like these cops just don't give a fuck, doesn't it? Like, it feels like they're tired of doing their job. Every single fucking cop, it seems, is just tired of doing their job and they don't want to be there anymore. Like, I don't understand. Why are you doing this job? Is it just for the power trip? Is that what it is? So, according to Channel 9 WAFB, Tony said on the body cam, he's just sore because I beat the crap out of this little F slur for gay people boy. Spell is heard saying on the body camera video.
So
all right, let's jump forward a bit, see if we can get him to describe what happened.
They got disturbing the peace hours. He can go cut over there in the back of his property. He ain't got to cut up by my house.
Again, like I said, the cars passing by are louder than the lawnmower. I can't even hear the line
run at 4 in the morning.
What's
this is Exxon traffic shift change. It starts at 4:30.
But I'm saying the cars passing by are louder than I can't even hear his lawnmower from here.
Oh my God, dude.
Well,
I can go talk to him and let him know.
I guess not. He's went the other way.
Well, he's cutting grass. It's only so much you can cut in one area. But I can go talk to him if you know.
Yeah, ask him to cut other away from my home. He's got a protective order. That's within the distance, right there.
So within the protective order, did y'all when y'all went to court or once y'all got it filed?
They issued it over there when they released him.
Over
at the jail.
Oh, at the jail. Right.
At the jail. So he can't be this close to our home.
Is it all? Who set the protective order? Because it should already be known that your house is right here. And
the judge and the DA said it. I'll assume. So I didn't.
Did you get a copy of it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Victims Advocates Group dealt with it.
Okay. So with the judge setting the protective order, knowing the two addresses are this close, I'm not sure if you already knows that.
Over there, not right there. That's the church.
Okay,
He
well,
don't live there.
This
He
is
lives
probably
there.
still his address, still.
But I noticed he quit.
Wow, that mailbox is not well secured. That was unexpected.
Cutting over here now that y'all showed up. Ain't that a miracle? Ain't that a miracle?
Well, it sounds like the problem solved, but I'll
Jesus
still go
is
talk to him.
falling down on earth again.
Yeah, I'll still go talk to him to see what's
He needs to not be doing this. He's got 12 or 20 acres of land right there. But he needs to cut right by my house at 4 in the morning.
I mean,
seriously.
He got to cut that side as well.
He can cut it after we're up.
I can't tell him what time to cut his own
grass. He got a whole
grass.
ass ton of grass behind the place.
Which is good to have, but I can't tell him what time to cut his grass.
Cut that shit.
It's like the cops don't give a fuck. It's like they have no idea what's happening. Why are they even here if they're not here to do a fucking job?
So I'll go talk to him, man. You can go back inside and we'll just go from there.
Yep.
Thank you.
And watch, they're going to be super sympathetic to Tony Spell, right? They were not sympathetic to this guy. They're going to be super sympathetic to him, aren't they? Give it a sell. Let's see if we can.
Grass, he can't tell him.
He wants to keep the peace. He'll start in the back and work this way instead.
I can't tell him how to start cutting his own grass.
Hold on, let me just see if we can jump forward to where Tony Spell. Here you go. Right here. This is where Tony Spell, where they talk to him. Look at these cowboy boots in the window of this cop's car. Isn't that an obstruction? Should you have those up there? Muted. All right, here we go.
How's it going? All right, could be better. What's your name, brother?
Everybody in the world knows my name. What's the problem?
I don't know your name. That's why I'm asking.
Tony
you.
Spell.
All right, it's nice to meet you. I'm Deputy Whitley, East Baton Rouge Sheriff Office.
Everybody in the world knows my name. Like, is that a little bit conceited to anybody else? That feels a little conceited, right?
I got a call saying that you cutting grass pretty early. It's a noise complaint. It's a noise complaint. So I'm coming to let you know that if you can, maybe, I don't know how to turn the lawnmower down.
Next time I'm going to start early.
Well, that's fine.
Thank you.
But
Wait, what was that?
I don't know how to turn the lawnmower down.
Next time I'm going to start early.
Next time I'm going to start earlier. Dude, I love it. This cop was giving him the benefit of the doubt and pretending that it was just him mowing his fucking lawn and there was nothing to it. And Tony Spell just blows the lid right off of it. And he's like, yeah, I'm doing this on purpose to fucking piss him off. Yeah, I have a restraining order, or he has a restraining order against me, but I'm going to harass him anyway. I'm doing this solely to make his life miserable. That's what he's saying right now. I love that even when the cops are acting like corrupt pieces of shit, this fucking moron can't play into it for a single second. They were letting him out of this, and now he's just coming out and saying it. And you know what? They're going to let him out of it anyway, aren't they?
Well, that's fine. Thank you. But yeah. So one of the neighbors
I know him right
across
there.
the street,
The
yeah.
guy whose boy I beat up the other day.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right, so across the street, he called, said that the lawnmower is loud, which I understand. You're cutting the grass before the sun comes up. I explained that to him as well. He still feels as though it's pretty loud and just unacceptable.
Wait, what's happening? What's happening to this video? Why is it buffering? Dude, my internet didn't go down just now, did it? What's happening right now? Is my computer dying on me? Wait. Oh, is it because TTS started? Yes, my memory pressure just went way, way up. Well, that sucks. Am I going to have to kill the memory? I might, yeah, I think I'm going to have to. Yeah. Let's see. All right, I'm going to kill Bookforge, sadly. And I'll have to lower the batch size. We were at 8 minutes. Let's continue. Actually, let me see if I can download this video real fast.
And he's
All right,
doing
so
this to intimidate my
hold on,
victim
slow down,
son.
man. Hold on. What's going on exactly?
He's doing this to intimidate my victim's son.
To do what? To cut his... 1 second, I won't be too long.
811 right here.
Unacceptable, pretty much. But I think from what you've said and what he said, obviously I have some type of history, possibly, or something like that. Okay.
Really?
You have to do.
So, honestly, I can't tell you when to start cutting your own grass. I'm not sure if it's a city ordinance. Your son's right here.
It's private property. There's no noise ordinance. I've been doing this for 17 years.
I understand
You've
that.
been-
I'm just making
You've been cutting your grass at 4 in the fucking morning for 17 years, huh? 17 years. Is that why you said you're going to start earlier next time? He is obviously trying to fuck with this guy, right? He's clear as day, just trying to make his life miserable for no fucking reason.
contact with you, man. You got your ID by chance with you?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Can I go back to work while you're doing it?
Give me 1 second. I won't be
Trying to
too
beat
long.
heat.
I understand it.
Mark Anthony's. Hey, good morning.
How are you, man?
Beating the heat. There's no
What a piece of shit, dude. He knows what he's doing, obviously.
law against that.
Yeah.
He's just sore because I beat the crap out of his little faggot boy.
There you go. Because, yeah, so he's calling him a slur just for the sake of it, just because he wants to, because he enjoys it. Great guy, yeah, real pastor, real man of God over here.
And he's next if he comes over here and harasses these boys. Mark Anthony spelled.
What's a good address?
Hooper Road, right where you're sitting.
This is not going to look good for him in his felony conviction. This is, would it be malicious wounding? I don't know. Assault and battery at least. What is he even being charged with? Wait. Let's see. Give me a second here. I pulled the video. So we were at 8:19 or 9:19. 9. Here, right here. Less than 2 days after being arrested for the widely publicized beating of a 20-year-old man, the Reverend Tony Spell was captured on a law enforcement body cam, calling the alleged victim a slur and threatening his father. Yeah, so arrested for attacking central neighbor, 20-year-old yelled curses before fight. Why would they even put that? It doesn't matter if he yelled curses. He's allowed to yell whatever the fuck he wants. Free speech, baby. Why are they framing it like that? Spell was arrested in 2020. Sued Sherwin for installing surveillance cameras at his home, which is directly across the street from Spell's Life Tabernacle Church at 9323 Hooper Road. According to his arrest warrant, at around 10 a.m. Tuesday, Sherwin's son yelled, "Fuck you," to the pastor from the front yard of the home. So, he's allowed to yell whatever he wants. Spell started running across the street, and the man yelled, "What are you going to do?" Spell started beating the man until drivers on the road stopped to see what was going on, the warrant said. Spell ran back into the church, where he stayed until deputies arrested him. So this dude was on his own property, minding his own business, telling him "fuck you" from his own property. He's perfectly allowed to do that. And Spell came over and almost broke the dude's neck. That's what happened here. What a complete piece of shit. Why is he out of prison? Why did they grant him bail? People like this should not be on the street. I'm wondering what he was actually officially arrested for. I was hoping to find his arrest warrant, but okay.
Huh? Yeah, he needs to go back to sleep with his boyfriend.
With his boyfriend. He is obsessed with this dude being gay, and he's not. He has a fucking son.
What's a good phone number for you?
He's giving him his phone number, I guess. Okay.
If you're going to start a fire, you got to handle the flames. And they'll be swords with a Peter Hook.
If you start a fire, you got to handle flames. Well, you were the one that went over to this dude and beat him up. I mean, isn't this dude all about free speech? Wasn't that his whole bit? Free speech, free religion, free this, free that? Suddenly, he's not in favor of those things, huh? Interesting. He only gives a fuck about rights when it benefits him directly. What a piece of shit, dude.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna give you a file card with the file number. You don't want it?
It's wasting my time.
That's fine.
Get to work, boys. We're done.
I don't know. They're talking to each other. I wish it wasn't muted. I wish we knew what they were saying. Maybe a lip reader can come in. Give us an idea of what's happening right now. Yeah, I think that might be... Yeah, it looks like the rest is muted, but... Anyway, wow, dude. What a complete sack of shit. Tony Spell? I've known that about him for a long time now, but my God. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Okay, let's continue. The boyfriend is his son, yeah. I should probably give an intro to this. This is Flashpoint. It's a Trump theology TV show. They are obsessed with Donald Trump. It's wild. Let's give this a listen, see what they have to say. This particular person is a quote-unquote investigative journalist, a.k.a. a propagandist for the Epoch Times, which is a cult newspaper. The cult is called Falun Gong, and they're based in New York City, and they're out of their fucking heads.
And I think that is where America needs to draw a line on these things.
Yeah, Tim, while you talk, this is B-roll. This was going on in Houston, the Muslims taking over. I want you to look at that comment, what you're seeing here.
I'm not even sure what I'm seeing, Gene. This is new to me, but the reality that there are Muslims out gathering, and we've seen this in New York.
In the streets.
Muslims out gathering in the streets. Oh, no. Not in the streets. We can't allow people to just kind of congregate in their communities. That should be forbidden, right? Muslims shouldn't be allowed to talk to each other at all. Fuck it. Let's go all the way. Ban mosques. Hell, deport all of the Muslims, right? Because they're not real Americans.
Yeah, to me, it looks like some of the things we are seeing in some of these major democratic cities. But one of the things that we know to be the case, as Andrew was even laying out some of the history of the Quran, Muhammad laid out a strategy that you initially are peaceful, and then the more you grow, then you use more force. And initially you're peaceful and you try to win people over, but then you begin pressuring them. And
yeah, pretty much all of this is a lie. Islam is destructive, in my opinion. I don't like Islam, but their framing of it is absurd. All of it is absolutely insane.
They do a very good job of playing the victim card. We're being oppressed as they're literally...
They literally are being oppressed. God, these people could be describing themselves right now. Seriously.
Setting fire to churches around the world.
Well, who the fuck is doing that? Who the fuck is setting fire to churches around the world? What?
and then saying, oh my gosh, people are going to think that it's our fault. You're the one that set the fire, but this is
what fire? What is he talking about?
All part of the strategy. So this is, it's very sad to see. It's not surprising because literally this is part of the Islamic strategy. But to the point backing up, what Josh even pointed out, if you just judge a tree by the fruits and measure what it produces, if you look at the fact that America's been the most free, the most stable, the most prosperous, and the most benevolent nation in the history of the world.
That is delusion so fucking thick, I don't know what to do with it. America is what exactly? One more time?
But to the point backing up, what Josh even pointed out, if you just judge a tree by the fruits and measure what it produces, if you look at the fact that America's been the most free, the most stable, the most prosperous, and the most benevolent.
Free, stable, prosperous, and benevolent? What? No fucking way does he believe this.
Nation in the history of the world, as we're about to celebrate.
Oh, fuck.
Nation where when Islam took over, Iran's a great example. When Islam took over, they didn't become more free. They didn't become more stable, more prosperous. They didn't become more benevolent. And so this idea that we should give freedom to everybody, believing that all roads lead to the same place, that all economic theories are going to provide economic stability and prosperity, et cetera, it's utterly ridiculous. Now, I think there are a lot of people waking up, but I think the challenge now, to some extent, is you've kind of let the camel's nose get under the tent because of what Biden did, among many others, President Obama, many that left a border open, that let a lot of...
They did not leave an open border. There was never any open border. This is fucking delusion.
People come through that were religious extremists, and a lot of states who didn't protect laws. And I think also because a lot of Americans didn't understand what is the basis of our religious freedom, the idea, the Christian values and virtues upon which the nation was built, upon which the founding father said, without these, without religion and morality, the dispositions and habits that lead to our political prosperity, they cannot remain.
The founding fathers did not say that. John Adams was a religious fundamentalist nutcase. I can feasibly see maybe he might have said something like that, maybe. The founding fathers were Enlightenment thinkers. The United States is the first secular nation on this scale in the history of Earth.
And we have gotten so disconnected from those. Christians are the only ones that have been drinking the Kool-Aid, saying, well, if you're religious, you shouldn't get involved. No Muslim drinks that Kool-Aid, right? The Hindus,
they don't. I mean, Muslims in the United States know that they have no hope of taking over the U.S. and have no interest in doing so. I find that there's nothing unique about Muslims or Christians or Jews or whatever. If any demographic of people has an opportunity to seize power and take control of a system, they will. Period. I'm sure atheists would do it if presented that scenario. The problem is people and power and their relationship to it. And Muslims in the United States don't have any power. When Christians were being persecuted genuinely, not pretend like these guys, when they were genuinely being persecuted, they were also in favor of religious freedom and choices, people's rights to make decisions for their own lives and everything else. Minority groups want to curb power, and powerful groups want to expand their power. That's how it always works. That is how it has always worked. Muslims in the U.S. want to expand religious freedom. They want to expand people's rights to do what they want with their lives. Muslims in the Middle East do not want to expand freedoms. They want to curb those freedoms. So it's just people's relationship to power. That's it. That's what it's all about.
Buddhists, they don't drink that Kool-Aid. The atheists, the secularists, it's only the Christians who think, well, we shouldn't promote.
This is fucking delusion. It's only the Christians who think people should have religious rights. What?
get involved. No Muslim drinks that Kool-Aid, right? The Hindus, the Buddhists, they don't drink that Kool-Aid. The atheists, the secularists, it's only the Christians who think, well, we shouldn't promote our values in the public arena, and this is why we're dealing with these problems, because Christians have not engaged in the process, and it's time Christians wake up and recognize that we have the greatest moral values, we have the truth on our side,
That's right.
And if we don't stand up soon, we're going to lose what has been the greatest country, arguably, in the history of the world.
These people genuinely whip people into a blood frenzy in fucking insane ways.
Well, let me show you what James Tallarico said. This is why it's so important to make sure you're listening to the truth. You got to get to the truth. You must.
Anyway, Jesus Christ, dude, that's insane. These people are seriously nuts. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. Now, I'm on the fence about continuing to cover this, or if we should switch to James Fishback. How long does this have? 45. I can probably only hit one. I guess we can continue. Let's just continue this for now.
Let's get the truth. I know that's why you watch Flashpoint. So,
yeah, for the truth, totally.
Let me show you. Democrat, state of Texas. Here's what he said about the Muslims. We're being mean.
I know we have a lot of our Muslim brothers and sisters here on this call. This president likes to talk about religious freedom when he's on the campaign trail, but I think that applies to anyone who's not Muslim, because he started out his presidency with a ban on Muslims entering our country. And we have to remember that he is a threat to your community, which means he's a threat to all of us. And Barbara Jordan, great Texan, had a saying that I love, that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And so I just want to thank all.
That is a really good saying. I like that a lot. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. It's good.
Of you for being at the table.
Okay, I mean, it's not even worth a comment. I'm not even going to talk about it. I am going to.
What was the complaint exactly? Like, what's he upset about? Why did he even play that exactly?
Talk about how the Democrats are fighting each other now. So what has happened, if you've been paying attention, after this last win a few nights ago, it's obvious the Democrat socialists, communists, crazy people are at war with the ones who think they're more centrist. Well, the Democrat Party has got a problem. Watch.
According to this new report from Axios, a bunch of centrist House Democrats are, quote, preparing for war if the new slate of far-left members who just won their Democratic primaries ultimately end up joining their ranks in Congress.
That's true. The centrists, like Hakeem Jeffries, are trying to effectively destroy the normal, or to destroy the progressives. The progressives had massive wins in all the primaries recently. People are being pushed further to the left.
Congress and try to hijack the House floor to extract ideological concessions. 13 House Democratic members and candidates signed on to a Promise to America initiative. They're pledging to stay true to centrist principles, including capitalism over socialism, fiscal discipline, strong borders, and pride in the United States. Among them, current House Reps Tom Suozzi, Adam Gray, Laura Gillen, Don Davis, Kristen McDonald-Rivet, Josh Gottheimer, Maggie Goodlander.
I appreciate that they're naming them so that we know who not to support next election cycle, right?
Janelle Bynum, Vicente Gonzalez, and Susie Lee. One of these lawmakers told Axios, quote, "There's going to be war," calling the incoming leftist members bomb throwers, not problem solvers.
Okay, well, I simply disagree. I think you've been fucking worthless this entire time. I think these people actually want to do something good. Like Mamdani, for example. He's done so fucking much. He's been so helpful, so productive to New York City.
Here's Tom Suozzi.
As we said in our pledge, we're for capitalism, not socialism. We're for safety, not lawlessness. We're proud of America, not ashamed of America.
I'm not ashamed of America. I think people should be following the law. I want to fix the law. I want to change it to make it more fair and to not favor one group over another, that kind of thing. I am all of those things. What are you fucking talking about? People on the left are, like, ashamed of America? What?
And we need to be promoting those things. And, you know, the far left and the far right, you know, they're all very well organized. But those of us that don't support those far left or far right principles need to do a better job organizing and getting our message out.
This comes after candidates endorsed by the Democratic Socialists of America defeated several well-funded incumbents with the help of endorsements from New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Fox's Chad Pergram talked to Congressman John Larson about the fallout.
What did Congress have to do with elections in New York? The voters of New York make up their own mind. We don't control voters of New York. In America, in a free democratic republic, people get to choose their elected representatives. The people of New York have made a decision.
And the result is widely expected to deliver the largest far-left coalition in history after the new candidates join ranks with the current squad members in the House.
I believe in capitalism, so I'm not a socialist. So I don't know whether that's an issue or not.
Look, I think like nobody cares if you are a capitalist. I think the vast majority of socialists are capitalists. Look, let me explain. Okay. When people hear capitalist, they think free market, right? And that's true. That's what capitalism is, a free, open market. But there are limits to how free a market should be, right? Like monopolies, monopolies existing, that is the end result of capitalism. That's what happens in a capitalist system. And you have to regulate monopolies away to keep the market free. So you're adding regulation to a system, which makes the market less free by definition because there's regulation. But the regulation makes things more free or more fair, I suppose you could say, right? Well, and now imagine if we live in a capitalist system where companies are now regulated and required to share profits with their workers. Imagine a scenario in which companies have to give a share of the stocks, the company stocks, to the workers. So now if the workers do well and the company succeeds, their wallets do well. Imagine a scenario in which the workers vote on their boss and their bosses vote on their bosses and their bosses on their bosses all the way up the line until you're voting for who is CEO. Imagine a situation in which the company operates a bit more like a nonprofit. Like Facebook would operate like a nonprofit in that the workers technically own all of the shares of the company and they vote on who the boss is. And maybe that's Mark Zuckerberg. Maybe he's the boss chosen by the workers. But the workers choose who those bosses are. That I just described socialism. We can have socialism and capitalism simultaneously. It's just like you have to draw a line where it's capitalism is destructive as fucking shit. And you have to make things more fair and make sure that it doesn't run away with like erasing regulation and fucking people over. That's all. That's what socialism is at the end of the day. Regulated capitalism and workers owning shares in the companies and voting on who their bosses are. That's it.
What happens in New York City is sort of just what happens in New York City.
When we have the power, we're not afraid to use it.
They're a little late to the game. It's like, hey, wow, you guys, you're a little late to the game. But yeah, don't be like those.
Didn't you literally just say that? Why did you repeat yourself twice?
Far right people. It's like, hey, wow, you guys, you're a little late to the game. But yeah, don't be like those far right people. They're crazy too. However, you got a bigger issue in your own party right now. And I think they're finally figuring out, Tim, they're about to be misplaced, primaried, and they're going to be out the door.
You mean displaced?
Yeah, I think we're seeing
like somebody's going to lose them. Is that what you're saying?
This play out on both sides, frankly, because what we have seen for now decades is both sides have prioritized their side winning, not the values they believe in promote. They give conceptual ideas.
Wow, listen to this enlightened centrist.
But we mentioned this earlier, like with conservatives, when Tucker Carlson's like, I'm not voting Republican. We have a lot of conservatives, Republicans, they don't even know what we're trying to conserve. If you don't believe in traditional family and traditional marriage and unborn life, if we're not trying to conserve some basic things, then what are you even doing? Well, similar with Democrats. When you now have Democrats going, wait a second, we're full on socialists and communists. I thought we really didn't like those guys.
Yeah, nobody, I'm going to say nobody in the Democratic Party, like none of the leaders in the Democratic Party are socialists or communists. Not one, I'm going to argue. Maybe socialists. There may be some socialists. But again, socialism is exactly what I just described. It's capitalism that's heavily regulated, where the workers own the shares of the company and vote on their bosses. That's it. That's all it is. Beyond a certain size. You know, you could say, like, if you have more than 5 workers in a company, then those workers will own part of the company. They will own the shares of the company, and they will vote on who the CEO is.
When you are not clear what you stand on, then ultimately you are the shifting sand, and that sand goes out from under you. And that's what we're seeing right now happen with the Democrat Party. They have not focused on the values they believe in. They haven't brought clarity to that. They've just tried to help their side win. And there's at least a few Democrats that has enough of a moral inkling inside of them to go, wait a second, I'm not sure I agree with everywhere we're going. And that is good.
Yeah, insert John Fetterman right now.
John Fetterman had a stroke and got literal brain damage, and that's how he ended up Republican. I'm not sure he's like this bastion of conservatism you want to hold up, honestly.
All right, let's look at what New Yorkers themselves, do they really want socialism?
As a New Yorker, as somebody from Manhattan, yes. We really do. Again, socialism is basically just regulated capitalism in the most mild sense.
Here's what they had to say.
Socialism is spreading on the left after a trio of Mamdani-backed Democratic socialists swept their elections this week.
Actually, they're social democrats, but okay. Whatever. You're going to propagandize. I get it. Anyway, this is called man on the street propaganda, coined by me. Somebody else probably came up with it before me, but anyway. Man on the street propaganda. They basically do 100 interviews across the course of like a day, 100 interviews, and they pick out the 3 of 100 that agree with them, and they show those. You could literally get anybody in New York City to support you could literally get people in New York City to support any position when you're doing man on the street propaganda. Do you believe the moon landing was faked? You could find somebody in New York City who believes, yes, it was faked, right? That's what they're going to do here.
New York voters now want socialism to spread nationwide.
Washington Square Park. I used to go there all the time. I love that place.
I think socialism is a very important part of American culture. I feel like we all could use a form of socialism in our lives.
So you would want to be ruled by a socialist government?
I would see how it goes, give it a try. Why not?
Yes. I mean, look at how Sweden and Norway are doing. Phenomenally fucking well. I would love to live in a country that's a little bit more kind of configured like that, like Sweden and Norway. That would be the shit. Again, socialism really is not that intense. Socialism really is not that different from capitalism. You just feel like it is because of these fucking nutcases who have spent literal generations propagandizing, lying, and demonizing it.
A more socialist system would be better.
I think that America should disband the federal government and then open borders like the European Union.
We mostly just want to protest like corporations.
Are these items for sale?
I don't think this is free.
In a perfect world, it's like...
Again, he's making fun of him because he's selling items. Socialism does not mean capitalism goes away. Capitalism still exists under socialism. Or let me rephrase. Markets still exist under a socialist system.
Free everything. I don't want to have to like break my leg and then also be the person that pays for it. Jeff Bezos should pay for it.
2028 Democratic nominee for president. Would you want it to be a Democratic socialist?
Yeah, it wouldn't bother me.
Personally, yeah, I'm very open to it.
This is called an EBT card. Your check gets divvied up and it goes into my EBT card. So for this reason, I get around $200 a month to spend on whatever I want to spend on.
You said whatever you want to spend it on. Isn't it just for food?
Well, I also get cash.
With that.
Okay, that's a separate program, the cash program. In West Virginia, that was called the TANF program, TANF, and I got it for a short time. They only gave me $300 a month, and I had to work for that. They didn't just give it to me for free. It just, when you're at a certain level of poverty, they will provide, money or whatever to you. So, yeah.
Can you go and buy, let's say, alcohol?
Yeah.
No, you cannot buy alcohol with food stamps. So you're talking about with the cash assistance? You can buy literally anything with the cash assistance, but it's really for rent and utility bills and stuff.
I get alcohol all the time.
What about like marijuana?
Yeah, definitely. I need that.
So with your EBT taxpayer money, you buy marijuana?
This is socialism.
For the people that work, like yourself.
They're obviously twisting this completely out of proportion, right? Like, it's clear as day that they're doing jump cuts and stuff. I mean, I'm not the only one that sees these jump cuts, right? Egregious fucking jump cuts.
Are basically paying for him to get high.
And it's crazy because when it comes to food stamps, they say that you have to work to get food stamps.
What would you say to somebody who works and their money's being taken for you to buy marijuana, and they say that's not fair? What would you say to them?
I would tell them that they need to do research and understand what socialism is.
They need to understand what socialism is, Josh.
Yeah, that was quintessential man on the street propaganda. That was a great example of it. You're finding people who say really crazy things or people who aren't saying really crazy things, and you're twisting it around and warping it out of proportion until it sounds absolutely crazy. That's how it works. That's how man on the street propaganda works.
Give you first shot at that.
Yeah, well, what is socialism? Socialism is the form that communism takes when practiced by government.
What? Okay, I'm sorry. That doesn't make any fucking sense. What the fuck are you talking about? Communism is not practiced by government. It's practiced by the people. What is he even talking about? So communism practiced by government is socialism. That was an absolutely fucking insane thing to say.
That is the simplest answer of what socialism is. Communism exists technically through the negation of systems. When Vladimir Lenin took power, he described socialism as the state capitalist monopoly. In other words, the government has taken over the means of production. That's what socialism is.
No, it's not.
It is basically subsidized failure. So to prevent failing ways of life, failing cultures, failing work ethic, failing systems, you subsidize it by robbing another person. And that only works so long as you have somebody else to rob. When you run out of people to rob, when you kill them enough, you throw enough in gulag or whatever else, or you just disincentivize them enough to not work.
Again, it's basically just private companies operating, like corporations operating in the same way that nonprofit organizations operate today. That's what socialism is, where all giant corporations are nonprofits that look out for the best interests of society rather than themselves. Do you know that it's illegal for corporations for the board members of corporations or whatever to act in any interests except for the best interests of the company. So if it's in the best interests of the company to increase denials in the healthcare industry, like if they're approving the healthcare of too many people, they can be sued by their shareholders for that. Every corporation has this in their little lines, their bylaws or whatever the fuck you call it. That people, that the shareholders, that the board members must act in the best interests of the shareholders, period. And if they don't, they can be sued.
It fails, and that's why it fails every single time it's practiced in any other part of the world. As soon as it loses a host to feed on, it's parasitic. To the point of what's happening with the Democratic Party, this is the problem they have. Basically, the Democrats allowed the Democratic Socialists, and there's several groups, Freedom of Liberation and Socialism. Actually, nobody talks about it, but the Rainbow Coalition is one of the biggest ones. Mm-hmm. Code Pink, organizations like this, took over the grassroots of the Democrat Party because they let them do it. They run the voter rolls. They get out the vote drives. They have all the voter data. They're the ones who basically run all the grassroots stuff of the Democratic Party. And they said, well, why are we fielding your candidates? We're going to field ours. They're subverting the Democratic Party from within. A lot of the incumbent Democrats don't like that because even though it may work in Democrat-held areas, many of them do not believe it's going to be able to get enough votes to win against Republicans. And
that's complete nonsense. Republicans are so completely fucked. Oh my God, they are so fucked. Again, if you want to feel better about the situation, you can go to wavemap.us. I designed it, and it'll show you what, in my opinion, is most likely going to happen in the next election. I think they are all fucked.
And that's going to be the big challenge Democrats are facing with this.
All right, I want to begin to wrap up, and I want to show you this video because, listen, you have heard on Flashpoint how we got to stand up. You need to go vote. You need to make your voice heard. I found this video on the internet. I felt like it gave you, it's a little bit different of a clip, but it gives you a different perspective on standing up. Watch.
You there, second desk, blue jacket. What is your name?
My name is Alexis.
Alexis, please leave my lecture room. I don't want to see you at one of my lectures ever again.
I don't understand.
I am not going to ask a second time. Thank you. Why are there laws? What are laws for? Anyone?
Social order.
To protect a person's personal rights.
So that you can rely on the government?
What? So you can rely on the government? All of these answers are fucking ridiculous. What are laws for? Social order. The answer is social order. Make sure that we're not causing, make sure that we're not causing absolute chaos and that everybody is being treated fairly, basically.
Justice? Thank you.
Well, no, laws lead to justice, right? It's not for justice. It's just what it leads to. I mean, this is obviously a fake scenario fabricated by right-wing extremists, right? It seems to me. I mean, I can't really tell what the fuck is happening right now.
Tell me, was I unfair to your classmate just now? Indeed, I was. So, why didn't any of you protest? Why didn't any of you try and stop me? why didn't you want to prevent this injustice?
Well, I don't think anybody had any idea if there was an injustice. Like, he may have known her outside of, like, people don't just ban people from their classes for no reason at all. If he had said, you're black and I don't want you in my class, that would have been a different situation and people would have stood up. But it seemed pretty clear there was a pre-existing relationship here, right?
You see, what you have just learnt, you wouldn't have understood in 1,000 hours of lectures unless you lived it.
What?
You didn't say anything because you weren't affected yourself.
Okay, well, I can appreciate that lesson, but I don't think that's why. I think this is probably kind of poorly done. And what's with the fucking music?
And this attitude speaks against you and against life. You think it doesn't concern you, so it's none of your business. Well, I'm here to say, if you don't help bring about justice, then one day you too may experience injustice, and there will be nobody there to stand before you.
Okay, interesting. Well, I can appreciate the sentiment there, the lesson encapsulated in Martin Niemöller's poem. First they came for the communists, and I said nothing because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I said nothing because I wasn't a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I said nothing because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I said nothing because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. That was kind of the lesson being taught there, right? I can appreciate that lesson. But there are a billion reasons why nobody spoke up. If he had said, I don't want you in your class, I don't want you in my class because you're black, that definitely would have been a different situation. People absolutely would have stood up for that.
What do you think, Andrew?
It's happening, Gene. It is very important because as I travel across America, one of the biggest problems I see is everybody is playing churchianity, and just building their family without actually being aware of the bigger picture.
I don't understand what the fuck he just said. Everybody is playing churchianity without being aware of the bigger picture? What?
There is a spirit hovering across the world. It started from the Middle East. It started from China with communism hovering. And now it made it to London with Sadiq Khan, the Islamic Socialist Alliance. And now it's in New York, America. And the reality is, will you get...
Wait, did he see the video that they just played? You're talking about New York again? That was like 20 minutes ago.
...involved in the fight. I don't think people understand and fathom the depth of and the power of this moment, to have land of the free, home of the brave, the place of Statue of Liberty, to have a Muslim mayor, and the place of Wall Street Journal.
Bro, what the fuck is happening? Are you not listening? Did you got gummy bears in your ears? Did you miss that whole video they just played?
To have a socialist mayor. These are the warning signs to people across America that this is your time for you to defend your state, to defend your nation, to speak up, to act, to fight, to vote your faith and not your feelings, to be involved in the electoral process, to go and help.
The electoral process. What the fuck is the electoral process? Never heard of that before.
To go and run for office, to go to your school board. This is a time for you to see the writing on the wall. You're watching the rape of Britain a few minutes down the road from you, to now the Islamization of New York.
Wait. A few minutes down the road from you. Britain is a few minutes down the road from America? Okay.
And I'm here to tell you, what's happening there is going to happen here. And if you don't fight for them, and if you don't fight for what is happening there, it's only a matter of time before it happens to you.
I'm so goddamn lost, dude. We were talking about some stupid fucking video about watching out for others or whatever.
Tim, your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's similar when we look at the parable of the Good Samaritan, where obviously the one wanting to justify himself says, Jesus, who is my neighbor? And he tells the story. And the Samaritan is the one who saw the person, the Jewish man that was wounded, injured, and took pity on him, somebody that typically he wouldn't have cared for. And he recognized if there's someone in need and I can do something, I am called to help people in need. And that's part of what it means to be a neighbor. And I say this because as Christians, it's very easy to feel like if it doesn't affect me, I don't need to worry about it. But also I would add to that not only should we stand up for injustice, and there's so many Bible verses we can point to on that, but it's also important that we are very clear on what is justice. Justice is not subjective, how I feel. I didn't like that. No. We ultimately go back to some basic questions. Is there truth, and who decides what it is? And as Christians, we recognize the Word of God gives clarity to what truth is, which means...
No, it doesn't. The Word of God gives clarity to what truth is? In no way is that true. Not even a little bit.
We're not fighting for social justice. We're fighting for biblical justice. And part of how we love our neighbors ourselves is we stand up, whether it be at school board, at city council, places where our neighbors are being impacted. And if we would raise our voice, we would make a difference. And so I totally agree with this thought and concept. It makes a difference that we clearly define what biblical justice is and then what our role is that we can play to love our neighbors ourselves.
So good. All right, 30 seconds. Your final thoughts here, Josh?
Yeah, well, I think, the left is very good at this. When they see something that goes against their values, they're very vocal about it. Conservatives typically are not.
What? Conservatives are not vocal about things that pisses them off, things they don't like? What are you fucking smoking? This guy is insane.
And I think it ties into something that maybe people need to have a wake-up call on. That if you're silent, yeah, your rights are going to be deprived. If you're silent, you're going to lose your freedoms. And if you're silent, when you see, violations of your rights or the rights of others, eventually it's going to get worse. And so I do think people need to at least be vocal or engage somehow.
These people genuinely live in a delusional world. These guys are propagandists. These guys specifically. So maybe they don't live in a delusion. Maybe they are fully aware that they are lying shitbags.
Passivity, I don't think, is purely moral. So I do.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Eventually, it's going to get worse, and so I do think people need to at least be vocal or engage somehow. Passivity, I don't think, is purely moral.
Passivity is not moral. Okay.
So I do think action sometimes is required. I don't mean violent. I mean speaking out at the very least.
So good, guys.
Speaking out at the very least. Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, October 22nd to the 24th, we have a special event right here at the Flashpoint Ranch, Northwest.
Okay, well, I think that's the end. Anyway, Jesus, dude, that was fucking insane. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. Holy Christ on a cracker, bro. All right, I got to get out of here. I got things to do. I got people to do, things to see. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow, okay?